Here they say your mom is up for dead. When the girls and all been like
What the heck? There we go. Welcome to Smallmouth Crush Live, January 31st, 2022. I survived the New England blizzard, and I'm back in studio ready to rock and roll, although I'm awfully tired, Eric.
Well, I'm guessing there were some late nights. And let me ask you a question. Were there any white claws involved?
No white claws involved. No.
Was there any liquor involved? You fell off the wagon.
Yeah, I was never on a wagon. I was just trying to, not drink as much.
And how do you feel? Like, are you feeling any different? Because you noticed when you were drinking the club soda, not the claw, you didn't notice any performance enhancement. Do you notice any lack of performance after you've arrived home with the brain power, energy levels, etc.?
Energy levels are down only because I said, you know what? Since I had a couple cocktails this weekend on the way home, I can swing into McDonald's and grab a filet of fish. So I had gluten for the first time in 4 months.
And
I just feel guilty, man. I'm ready to get back on track.
It's more guilt, less fog. There's no brain fog or anything like that. Although right before the show, 2 minutes, he goes, "What was I going to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Travis." So, man, you made it through.
It actually was it was extremely low key at the show. Yeah. Of course, we had the regular guys that we hung out with, but there was quite a few people that I wasn't able to really connect with like I used to.
Right on.
You know, I love the group from Filthy Anglers. They weren't there. There was a few other guys that I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay.
So I don't really know. It was just a weird vibe this year there.
Yeah.
And that storm on Saturday really shut things down.
That's crazy. I thought the cam was pretty funny because you could watch people coming up to the booth. You know, I'd call JP and I'm like, of course, I'm watching at the time when I call. I'm like, "What are you doing, dude?" And then I could see his reaction to me calling. You know, it's pretty funny. So he looks like he helped out. He was trying to sell like hell for you because he'd hang up on me like, "I got to go." And then I could hear him saying, "What do you guys think of those Smallmouth Crush hats?" He was pumping the merch. How are the merchandise sales?
Good. Has some guys are
videos off. Voice just came great now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, whatever you were doing before,
I switched it up.
Working.
Wrong mic.
Yeah, you got the right mic now.
Sorry,
you sounded like yourself.
Let's start all over.
I almost saw a guy break your rods. Like there was a guy that leaned into the booth, and the rod looked like it might have got close to his head, and he didn't like that because they had fallen down over your director's chair, and he grabbed them and he started to bend them and push them back, and some dude with a Beast Coast sweaty came on and like moved them away.
Really?
It was interesting, and people were commenting like, "Oh my God, almost $1,800 a rod's broken."
You know, we sold a bunch of used rods without, you know, I kind of just shoved them in the back there, and nobody really knew what they were all about.
Yeah.
So it did help having JP in the booth for sure, gathering some interest, talking, you know.
That didn't take long.
It's Alex. How many hats? I don't know, Alex. 30. I guess he's got the night off. maybe he forgot that it's Monday night. He's working on some website stuff right now, but he never really brought up the fact that there's a live stream tonight. Whatever.
At least he's working in the background.
At least he is. So I feel like it was a successful trip. We did quite a bit in merchandise.
Good.
We sold a lot of Gajo Spirit Shads, a lot of
Awesome
tubes. The Beast Coast Sniper jigs flew off the shelves over there at their booth, big time.
Even better.
I learned a lot about that jig by really being able to visually see it in the big tank that they have there, the fish tank, the aquarium. Where
what were your takeaways?
Wow! So you put a little the Strike King Rage Ned or Rage Craw Ned on the back.
Okay.
And it has such a tight kick as it falls straight down. It was like, wow, really blew my mind.
Yeah, so you like that.
It looked like a freaking crayfish darting down, like that. Those fish would instantly, like, it would be a reaction. Oftentimes those fish, and I know it's a different environment, but I'm sure that situation happens on the lake every once in a while. It was just you could actually just see the reaction strikes happen and how they happen.
It was like a piece of cheesecake falling to a hungry guy for dessert or something, right?
Yeah, he just grabbed it.
Okay. Yeah, man, that was for Carl, by the way, who hung out apparently this weekend with you, man, right?
Yeah, Carl, we met a bunch of people.
Yeah, John Mango, Carl,
Guggen Slayer, bunch of people, man.
Nice, man.
Bunch of people that don't comment either. They just kind of sit in the background.
Well, Guggen Slayer, I recognize. Who else? What are some of the screen names attached to the people?
Yeah.
So you got Carl, who is Carl. You got John
down.
Mango, who is John Mango. You got Guggen Slayer, who is, what's his name?
Guggen Slayer. Straight up.
Straight up. All right. All right. JP.
A lot of interesting things. The Beast Coast, they got this new little chatterbait trailer that I was really intrigued with, as well as a flipping bait that I would say is pretty legit. But we got a really good show. I'm waiting for our next guest to come on. He'll be here shortly. We're going to talk hair jigs and probably get into some techniques when it comes to smallmouth and largemouth on inland bodies of water.
I think it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, maybe I could give a few updates.
Please do.
Sure. So I've been busy, man. Busy shipping out a lot of orders. So if I just want to say thank you to everybody who ordered up the Aaron's Morning Dawn Timber Tiger set. There's only 5 left, and I already made my donation to the Aaron Martin's family GoFundMe page. I donated $500 today, which was well beyond the profits of the sale of these baits, even if I sell them all. So just a big shout out to everybody. I know a lot of people watching tonight ordered them. So thank you, man. I appreciate that. I think that's really meaningful. Some of you may not know, I lost my mom to a brain tumor back in 1995. And that was one of the toughest things because it was a slow process before we lost her, and miss her every day, and kind of doing it in her memory as well. And Amart, the natural, the furious hog snatcher. So once again, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. So that was a really successful launch. I can't wait to see how people catch some bass on these crankbaits to keep Aaron's spirit alive. So it's my favorite drop shot worm color from RoboWorm, Aaron's Morning Dawn. If you haven't tried it, try it. And hopefully the crankbaits do you some good. So if they're not just hanging on your wall for memorabilia.
Absolutely.
Right, man. Got some beanies at the Bass Lab. Fresh ones are up. This is I'm wearing it tonight because it's cold down here in the lab. I might take it off soon. And then I got a gray one. So you could use, this is like the non-brimmed beanie. This is like an 8.5 inch. This is like an 8-inch. They're soft nylon, really nice. Super happy with how they came out. And the embroidery is just absolutely freaking perfect. I'm so stoked. So anyway, new beanies up. And the finesse crankbait box sold out. The ultimate finesse crankbait box for the people that ordered and got your baits. I've already gotten some great comments. Hit me up through Instagram. I'll do a video call with you guys as part of the package. And pretty soon I'll be putting the ultimate super shallow box together, and then after that it'll be a balsa box. Wow, that's going to be a banger too. So anyway, thank you all for the support. I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to while we're waiting here, got a bunch of some sneaky little baits. Oh, I got a little bait for you, Eric. I got to share with you. But before we,
What you got? Oh yeah, I got your set of these too, by the way. So don't you worry, none, Travis. You'll be throwing a timber tiger, never.
I'm not worried.
I didn't think you were.
I do want to, if I can find it here.
Black or gray beanie, Travis, if you had your preference.
Both. If it's me, both. If you're sending them to me, both.
Oh,
just like I would give you an assortment of stuff for me. Guys, on the shop, the SmallmouthCrush.com, I want to make this announcement because I am going to the Harrisburg show next week. And we did get quite a big, a number of people wanted some of those Do You Flog Bro and the performance stuff and all that. We do have it up on my website. So if you're interested in getting some of the clothes, make your move this week. I'm sure they'll be around after the, it depends. I guess you might not have the size that you need come after the 9-day expo. But if you're interested in supporting the channel, I think they're pretty cool. I really do like some of these designs, like the just that t-shirt there. How do we blow that up, Alex? Come on, Brohim. Well, that's about as big as it gets on the old website. Am I doing this wrong?
I think so.
Hold on. There's a plus there. Here. No, that's about it. You spend all this money on a website, you think you'd be able to blow that t-shirt up a little bit. Oh, well. You all right, buddy? Yeah. I'm just replying to my messages. That's fine. Anyways, grab your merchandise.
No, I'm talking to people on the stream. I was waiting for you to fix the picture. Did you fix it?
No, it doesn't get bigger. There's one from Finland. Arrived today.
A fat wrap, the OG fat wrap,
excited
non-rattling version. Yep.
Got a couple other baits show up at the house recently.
You're gonna repaint them?
Can you make that out?
Oh yeah, frozen tequila.
Yeah, our buddy Tom, who's normally in the comments, actually reached out. There's a awesome little tackle store up on near Oneida Lake. Scott at Lakeside Outfitters sent that to me, so I really appreciate that, Scott. Lakeside Outfitters do not know much about them. Didn't even know they existed. I thought all we had up there was like Gander and Walmart. And that's about it. So they got a bunch of stuff, dude. Some JDM, all kinds of crazy stuff. Let me know in the comments if you guys are up in that region, if you've checked out Lakeside Outfitters before. I'm interested in heading over there next time I'm up in that zone. Always looking for a cool little tackle store. Oh, I shouldn't say that. There was that little tackle store up there. We stopped at, Eric. Forgot the name of that one.
That was pretty cool, man.
We cleaned everything out of there. There ain't nothing left.
Oh my God, we got some good stuff out of that one, man. Oh, that was awesome, man. Some really, really old Finland Rapalas, some freaking bandits. I got the strangest Rapala of balsa flat side. Why am I hearing myself echo?
You should.
I don't know. I just was hearing it for a second.
You're
Strange,
all right,
man. Okay, cool, man. Anyway, yeah, that was cool. That was a cool shop. No question, man. What else you got from the show? I can hear myself. That's so strange.
Hold on a second.
What are you doing? You got your volume on the YouTube or something?
I don't.
Ghost in the machine, man. I don't know.
There's no ghost in the machine.
Sherpa. I heard that.
Brandon that Cranked Up Lures got you this one, Eric.
Check out that. That's
Custom
beautiful,
painted.
man. That's beautiful. Popar.
Yeah. So
good looking bait, man. Bluegill. They cracked that bluegill. I like that transplant.
Said that's for you, but I don't understand. Like he gave me in a bag and then he put another bait in for me. So I don't. He mentioned something about you. Like I don't know if you want it or not, but I'll probably utilize it. You know, if you don't.
Which one?
That Popar.
Oh, so he put in 2 Popars.
No, just that one. Like I don't know if it was for you or not.
Well, if he didn't put the Popar in, what did he put in?
Well, he put the Popar, but he mentioned your name. I just don't know if it was that's the one I'm supposed to give you, or if he's sending you one later.
Well, that's generally how it goes. You get stuff from me, and it just stays at your house, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't expect anything different.
John Mango sent me a few hand-tied jigs as well.
There you go.
Be interesting to check those out.
Yeah, that's actually skirt material that I sent him. Not the marabou, but the probably the skirt material you're using is came from my house. By the way, isn't that weird?
Hold on a second.
From Maryland to John.
I'm really confused. And that I did talk to a lot of people.
JP just says that it was for me.
Grat84 says I picked up some OD rats at the Expo. Grat, if you were there and I talked to you, but you never told me you were Grat84, did you? That's crazy. I met him, but if he fills me in, I'll remember him. But
it sounds like you're really fuzzy right now, dude.
I met so many people, and then some of them, it's hard to tell who they are. If I don't know their screen names, he might introduce them.
I just thought you said there was nobody there. Imagine if it was a busy show, you'd be really confused.
Confused?
I don't know, but I've just thought maybe that was like a Wisconsin thing.
Am I going to the Philly Fishing Expo? So, okay. Now it's all coming back. Yes. But he did. He should have been like, "Yo, this is me." Like if you said, if you go, "Hey, this is Mike," or "This is Adam, man. I watch your channel. I'm a fan. I love the lives." Well, tell me your screen name, man. That's how I recognize you, people.
Well, you could ask him, "Do you watch the show, and what's your screen name?" That would be a question that should probably go hand in hand in the future. One way or the other, you'll get it. Some people now will do it, but if they forget, then you got to ask.
JP's dying to talk about the swim bait cult. We might touch base on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to stir anything up.
Thomas Michael C. But well, he is the great Cornholio. JP says you did ask everyone that. You just couldn't put it together. It's hard. I'll give you that. You got to write it down.
Yes.
Like Grat 84 would be Garrett, you know, right? Stuff like that.
Yes. Yes.
All right, David Brown, I'll get your phone number from Travis, or you can send Travis your email, and then Travis can send me your email. Then I'll send you an email, and we'll get you a finesse crankbait box and that Super Eruption Junior, because you know that's a tough one to find. I love that Super Eruption and the Junior. It's a fish catching fool right there.
Hey, let me know if anyone's new here. We see a bunch of regulars: Hella Bass, Kuda, David Brown, John, Matthew, Guggen Slayer himself. Are you new? That's what I want to know. 218.
How big was the OD rat? I know they got a small one, but did they have a big one?
I didn't even go down that aisle.
Didn't I ask you to go look at the rats for me? That's the one thing I wanted. Or a piz.
I went to one, and then you started talking about that's resin. Don't get that. And then I got confused.
I don't know, man. You were just struggling.
Hold on.
Grad 84. That's right. I know the name, man. You got that right.
Good. At least I took the time.
I think he's talking about me.
Oh. I don't know.
Oh, dude, we met him on the bay with Jimmy Big Time when I was first using his baits.
Who did you meet?
Grad 84, bro.
No, you didn't.
Okay, whatever.
On the Chesapeake?
He's fishing with his father right there on the hospital.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't him.
Okay.
That wasn't him. It was someone else. Who was it? It wasn't him. You're misspoken. You're wrong on that one.
Fair.
Okay.
They did get Guggen Slayer said they went so fast. They had
did.
the snake, and there was a regular size rat.
You wouldn't want
Okay.
a snake.
Look at Jason Frazee said he's been here for 2 years. I just never comment. Well, thank you for the comment tonight.
Nice.
Nice. Rick Abato, me new. How you do? Cody Straughter, he's new. David Richardson says he talked to you yesterday in the parking lot before the show. You remember Dave?
Yes. He was parked next to me, I believe. Yes.
Gotcha.
New from Arkansas. Welcome. Cody's new. This is awesome, guys. Not that we don't.
Man, look at that, man. Ian
love
Cash
the,
Dollar. Thank
love
you,
the
Jake.
Originals. Where's Sean tonight, man? I'm worried. Somebody check on Sean.
Sean Lies here. I saw him.
Okay. Zaldane finally went to a grassroots company. Huh.
Guggen Slayer's Grassroots? I guess so.
What?
Sean Lai, I almost spit my coffee out when you wrote I'm new. Gotcha. All right, Jeff, I got you, man.
Okay. Not new, Phil Bass. You ready to bring our next guest on?
Yeah, is he waiting? Let's roll.
I see I see some stuff going on in the background. Mike,
What's up?
what's up, dude?
Yeah, he's got the vice out. Heck yeah, man.
What's up, guys?
That's awesome.
I like the logo, bro.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, man. That's like
Thanks.
right straight out of Jordan Fishing. Come
Hey.
on.
It's just me dunking a bass. That's all it is.
Boom. I love it.
Mike
He's going
Iovino.
straight
Iovino.
to tying it, man. Hi,
You know
everybody.
that's Italian, Eric. Do you know that?
He asked me earlier, is that Italian? How do you say his name? I'm
Dude,
like,
it's actually,
it's
it's supposed to be Iovino, but we say Iovino.
A lot of people do because I know this because I asked you when we first started talking. Are you related to the great Travis? Who would it be? Almost the father of finesse fishing. Who would that be? He's from California.
I don't.
He's written books. What? You don't know somebody that would be related to Mike with the same last name? That's the father of finesse, doodle socking, contour fishing. You're blowing my mind. What?
The mean weenie?
I don't know.
It's Don Iovino, bro.
Okay.
Come on.
You've never heard of Don Iovino?
I've heard of him.
How could you not know that right out of the
Right.
gate? That's
I
so
don't know.
crazy.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying
That's
to
his
fight
worm
off
right there.
this.
Yeah, man.
Look at that.
I mean,
Those things
Don
are
was just
awesome.
he was just on with Oliver Nye, man. They had him on for like 30 minutes. The godfather of finesse, man. He's like the man. Yeah, I mean, he was
is,
the modern day finesse fisherman.
He's a really cool dude.
He is.
So he actually just messaged me out of the blue one day. This is going back like 6 or 7 years ago.
That's
Maybe
so
even
crazy.
further than that. And he was like, "Hey, are we related?" And I'm like, "Nah. I mean, you live in California. I have no relatives there whatsoever." And he's like, "Well, I really like your last name." He was like, "Send me your address." And I'm like, "Okay." I sent him my address, and he has been sending me baits every year since then.
That is so incredible,
Which
man.
is why, it's why I have those worms like at the ready like that. That dude like sends me stuff like, I mean, I don't know, he probably sends me like $300 worth of stuff every year.
Dude, his spade tail worms are some of my favorite. His hand pours are really legit, and his color ways are just absolutely spectacular.
That's a mean drop shot bait right there.
Yep.
Mean.
Don is and Don makes the splash it Travis, which there's a splash it and splash it 2, which is like the cousin to the Rico and the Rio Rico. So there were some unique colors in the splash it line that you couldn't get in the Rico line, but Don has some incredible hand poured baits, and they do sell them on Tackle Warehouse, man. Maybe you should get the godfather of finesse on one day, Don Iovino. He's like, I think he's 80 or something.
He's old. He's old.
his book and his electronics classes back in the day, I mean, he was like the master of it all.
Mike, can we get you to How's that phone set up? Is there a way to do the other screen so you get a little bit bigger? Because you got a lot going on there. I kind of want to see what you're doing. If it's easy.
You want me to get a little bigger?
No, you know what I mean? Okay. So yeah.
It's not
there.
like that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that. You guys want to see my ceiling?
I like
Hold
that.
on.
Be careful. You might have some insulation fall down on you. Oh, we lost him.
Oh, well.
Well, hey,
Yep,
good
yep.
show, guys. Listen, as always, until next time,
We'll see you on the water.
End this right now. Just kidding. False alarm. We'll wait. Oh, man. There he is.
All right, let's bring him back.
Just that was a massive failure on my part.
So you can't turn it the other way?
Apologies. I can. It's just going to fall right over apparently
All right.
every single time.
Well, then forget it. Forget it.
Yeah, Travis.
I apologize. Our
run
intern
this
should have checked with you earlier before the show started and make sure you were set up properly.
That's right. That's the page 4 of the Smallmouth Crush operations manual.
Yeah.
I have it. I have it here.
I'm sure,
Right?
I'm sure you do.
Like it's the show prep notes and little check boxes. Make sure guest has proper screen audio. Exact.
Yes.
Well,
did you not get that memo?
I'll do my best from here on out to give you guys some good angles and all that stuff.
Cool, man. What you working on? Obviously a hair jig, but tell us about the flavor. Does it have a name?
This one does not. No, this is just olive fox with some black synthetic.
Okay. Is this one of your favorite Smalley hair jigs that you like to tie?
This one's pretty good, but it's not a go-to to put it.
Okay.
I'll get into that stuff with you guys here though, for sure.
Well, here's the deal, guys. We had Mike on the Smallmouth Crush season 1, and we had a lot of good feedback from that show. Unfortunately, we just didn't have the time. I mean, we started talking about a few things, and then you started talking about some plastics, and then blade bait, and then it just got too crazy. And then crankbaits, and I had to go buy these redwood, whatever you call them, and then
you actually got
catching concepts.
Then I had to get the bling something, and next thing I know,
bling 55.
You
there you go. You're starting to get it.
I'm starting to.
You won't throw them.
He told me he was like, "Oh, I never caught a fish on it," and I'm just like, I don't know what to say to you right now, sir. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what to do with my hands.
Brian the Carpenter's on tonight. BTC in the house.
Man.
What's
I tried to
up,
get BTC
everybody?
to jump in on the live at the sports show.
Mm-hmm.
We had Fat Cat right next to me, and I thought we'd get a little camaraderie and conversation and some laughs in. But
can I ask what was going on with that sports show, man? I'm watching, right, and like I was watching like not the live, but I went back and watched the live at a later time, and I'm like going through, and all of a sudden, like I'm like fast forwarding through the whole thing, and all I see is your hotel room and somebody sleeping.
Yeah, so my buddy JP,
like, what is going on?
My buddy JP just decided to take a nap while we were trying to do a live, and I think we got some good feedback. I do have a comment in here. Oh, here we go. Gentleman by the name of Chuck goes, I don't know what this is about, but you just lost a subscriber. So
thanks, Chuck.
Sorry about that. I just said, well, buddy, thanks for commenting and make it a great day. Hopefully you reconnect with us later. We're just trying things, man. You know what? I didn't force anybody to have to sit there and watch the whole thing. I just thought it'd be cool to have a live camera, and I thought I'd be able to interact a little bit more, but I got really busy, and I kind of just let the cameras roll. And, obviously that expo or that room we were at had a lot of background noise. So, you ever hear, you hear I don't know. You ever watch that Antique Roadshow and they're talking and you hear all the people in the background talking too? That's what I'm trying to give you a reference. That's what it sounded like, a bunch of muffles. So
all good, man.
Oh man. Anyways, So we had you on. You shared a lot of great information. I know I bought a bunch, and I don't know how much you want to give up tonight or what you want. I don't know. I mean, before we get into it, let's bust some balls here. What's up, Home Skillet?
I've been ready for this ball busting, Travis, because I have a lot of balls to bust back right at you.
What?
So I'm ready.
Oh wow,
for
I love it. Nice.
This is my favorite kind of intern.
it. All right.
He ain't scared.
Oh man.
No, we got it up, and I saw your complaint that you submitted a ticket for about the smaller images. So I'll get that fixed. I actually tried to do it before I hopped on here, but it was being too slow. So I'll get that taken care of tomorrow, if not Wednesday, if I have time.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I just, I'm real lucky that I have other things to do in my life outside of Smallmouth Crush. So it pains me that I have to do other things, but I always like being able to get back and do anything for Travis when he asks, especially when it pertains to the website, because I know that was our pet project.
I do have a lot. I do have a lot to go over, and we'll definitely go over that at some point. I'm a little confused, but I think we'll get there. Are you? We'll figure it out. Are you confused about the reporting side?
The what?
Like sales?
Isn't this supposed to be a hair jig episode?
Yeah.
Here's where we go time out,
Alex,
and we
we'll
go.
let you get back
guys
to work.
This is where we say, let's take that offline. That's what a good leader does. Thank you,
Mike. You got the floor,
gentlemen. All right. Well, yeah, hair jigs. We went over in the episode kind of the standard stuff. I talked about the black synthetic being kind of the mainstay and the staple of at least my hair jig arsenal. We also talked about marabou, and I started to kind of dive into the fox and stuff like that. But there's a lot of stuff to go on about when it comes to hair jigs, hair in general, tying. So, if anybody has any questions as we go throughout this, let me know what's coming through the comments, because I unfortunately don't see them. So, but I mean, we can just dive right in. I mean, honestly, so revisiting the standard synthetic, I mean, black is like the #1 color that I'm using. I would go as far as to say like 95% of the time that I'm fishing, at least in the Northeast. And this is just a regular black synthetic, right? But like, not all synthetics are created equally, and not all are the same. Some have, super different flow to them. I don't know if you can really tell by, looking at one of these next to the other, but this one has way more of a splay than that guy right there. And those are both synthetic materials. And then, this is a completely
why is that though? Why did one have
synthetic material? So it comes down to, it's different manufacturers. A synthetic material is, it's craft hair. That's, you're getting swatches of it, right? So like this, for instance, is just a swatch of craft hair. This right here is, which one is this? I think this is Hairline Extra Select, which is a really, really good all-around hair to use. It's easy to comb out, pretty easy to prep. You don't get like a ton of like long hairs and short hairs mixed in with one another that you have to like sift through. I can talk about that at some point too, but there's tons of different materials that we can get into, but all synthetic is completely different. I mean, this is the giant, it looks like a rug.
Holy shit.
But I found, right? So part of tying jigs, right? One of the biggest parts of tying jigs, especially if you're selling them, is to find good material and a supply of good material. I bought a little tiny square of this that was probably about that big. And as soon as I got it, I was like, yep, give me the biggest swatch you can. And
Give me
this
a coat. Looks like Game of Thrones and shit. That's what I'm talking about.
I'd wear that right now. I'm freezing.
Yeah, he's pimping it.
This is nice. I'm in the as Travis called it, the dungeon, so that makes me feel kind of warm. But that's a totally different kind of material than this, and they're both black synthetic, and they're both going to move totally differently.
Man, same thing like silicone, dude. There's really stiff, dead silicone. There's thick, there's supply, there's silicone that has tons of flow. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So that's a great point, man.
That's a good question. David Brown goes, what does that cost? What would something like that cost, that rug?
That giant one?
Yeah.
So that was like, I want to say it was like $60.
Oh.
That's a lot of jigs, man. You could tie some serious jigs. That's
Absolutely.
Oh god, that's 100,
but
hundreds and hundreds.
But like, okay, so this is a different material that you see. This is a material that I use very frequently. Also, black synthetic, barely any left on here. This swatch itself was like $9. So I mean, if you get the smaller stuff, you have to get the smaller stuff to see if it's worth you buying the bigger pieces. And once you find that gold, you buy as much of it as you possibly can, because suppliers change too. Like, for instance, Punisher for years used Punisher hair.
Yeah, me
Punisher
too.
hair was the top stuff, right? Then they got purchased. It became some different company, and then switched hands again to another company. And all of the hair, I swear, it's like completely inconsistent now. And I get to the point where I'll buy a swatch that's like, your typical, what is it, like 16 by 5 or something like that. And I'll be able to use like, that much of it. So the rest is trash. So you got to just continuously find the materials that are, going to work best. And it takes a lot of time. So, and that's why, there's guys like me out there that are tying, we know what to look for as far as the materials are concerned, and finding, the good stuff, as opposed to that, stuff that probably isn't that great. I mean, you can walk into a craft store, a Michael's, a Jan's, and you can find some really, really good stuff. But you can also find, complete garbage. So all depends. There's certain places where you find over the years that'll have, the really good stuff consistently. But again, every 5-6 years, it stands the chance of changing completely, and you got to just revisit. So that's why I end up buying, these giant rugs of synthetic hair when I find good stuff. That stuff is really, really good. Really good. Marabou too. So this is
boa.
Awesome Marabou.
Yeah,
Dude,
man, that came from a craft store or fashion store. You can, man, either way, that's some good stuff.
Yep. So this is actually awesome Marabou. And to give you a sort of a comparison between the two, let me see. So this is Marabou from a small pack that's feathers, your typical Marabou that's a little more expensive. This is that boa. I mean, it's dang near identical and moves almost the same in the water. So
it's incredible.
And that boa costs like $2.
It's so crazy, isn't it? Yep, yeah, they sell some mega packs of stuff at craft store. You got to dig through it, but you get a lot of good material for super stupid cheap.
Listen, so where do you want to go with this as far as a topic tonight?
Where do you want me to take it, man?
Here's how
you want me to ask the questions. I know where to go.
No.
You just gotta
listen. If you want to learn about tying jigs and putting flash and what hair and blah, 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 I'm sure Kudo will line you up. You guys can listen. I need to know, where do I throw these? How do I fish them? How are you working it? I don't care about, I'm going to buy them from you or whoever. I ain't going to sit here and tie and look for this boa and this scarf and whatever, and do that work. I'm going to go fishing and set the hook because that's what I enjoy doing. Okay. So
Those guys, yeah.
break it down. And if guys want to learn more, I'm totally into that a little bit later. Let's get to the juice, man. Eric, I'm sorry. I got to go there because I learned so much.
We'll have them on Jig Squad, and we can talk about the technique. This is
I'm
the
gonna
fishing
suppress
part.
my inner jig nerd. All
Yeah,
right.
this is the fishing part. Get to it, man. Let's go.
Dude, listen,
Travis, you got questions.
Here was the biggest thing. When you were on the podcast, you had some really good information about when to work what jig versus this jig, depending on water temp and time of year and how you fish them. And I found that extremely fascinating. So
all right.
Even if you repeat yourself a little bit from what you spoke on the podcast, can you take it kind of from the top when it comes to time of year? Let's start in early spring, which we'll have fast approaching here, and some of your favorite ways to fish those and what species. And
so
go ahead.
Early spring, I'll just take it. I got it. I understand the assignment here, Travis.
All right.
So starting early spring, I start with two materials. Okay. First is synthetic, this black synthetic, or any really, good synthetic if you're experimenting with colors. And the second is Bear. Bear is a stiffer material, doesn't move as much, but has a little bit of the same kind of characteristics that the synthetic has. But since it's a little stiffer, less porous, I guess you could say, of a material, it doesn't move around in the water quite as much as the standard synthetic does. Reason why that's good, you want to mimic something super torpid, right? You want something that's not really moving a lot in the early spring. So when I say early spring, I'm talking ice out through, you can get away with the standard synthetic for a lot longer than you can with the Bear. The Bear, I would stop throwing around like 48. The synthetic, I throw all the way up until like 55 to 60. So now this is my standard go-to, right? So this is an 1/8 ounce black synthetic hair jig. This is, if I'm fishing 10 feet or less, this is the jig that I'm tossing, is the 1/8 ounce. If I'm fishing deeper than that, I go up to 1/4. That's the standard. If it's super windy, I'll fish 1/4 over an 1/8 just to be able to feel the bottom. I have a ton of confidence in fishing hair. So I'll fish it when, people will be like, oh, it's, way too windy to fish a hair jig. I'm still tossing it I'll toss it in 30-mile-an-hour winds. I don't care because they bite it. This is another just standard 1/4 ounce black synthetic hair jig. There's some cool ways to tie that'll give you more flair and stuff like that, and we won't get into that right now. Okay, moving out of that time period. So when fish get shallower, a little shallower.
Let's stick after ice out. You said 1/8 ounce black synthetic, 10 feet or less. You get a little bit deeper, a little bit more wind. You're going to go with 1/4. So how are you fishing that? What type of rod, line setup? Are you using a trailer? Let's cover that before we move on.
So no trailer usually. If I am fishing for smallmouth, I never use trailer on the hair jig. Nothing that adds any action to it. It's a natural presentation. You want the hair to be able to breathe and move naturally in the water. It seems that's kind of the way that you are able to coax the most bites out of fish. Some guys dive into the using plastics on hair jigs. To me, I think it completely ruins the entire purpose of throwing hair over a soft plastic, because the soft plastic is adding action. It's adding, a completely different. It's just a completely different thing. It turns a bait into something that it isn't intended to be.
Good point.
Fishing hair in the early spring, you're looking for rocky stuff, and it's a slow drag. It's a crawl, basically just like fishing a Ned rig. A little less action on the rod, probably. I call it counting rocks. because literally you feel a rock and you're trying to just like lift it right over that rock, just barely. Like you're almost like getting hung up and just like lifting it barely over that rock.
Wow.
It's a super slow technique, particularly early in the season.
What's your water temp in the 40s when you're early season? Below 40?
I mean, I'm starting the ice out, so 36, 37.
Damn! Wow. Okay. Thanks.
And then going all the way up until they're spawning. So
sure,
60.
Yeah.
But rocky stuff, you need to know where these fish live in order to catch them like this. You're not gonna locate fish in a hair jig. Well, I mean, you got to dial it in with your electronics. You got to figure out, where these fish are hunkered down, where they're moving from point A to point B. And I say point A is a wintering hole. Point B is, the flat that they're going to move up onto prior to spawning.
So it's pre-spawn kind of stuff.
It's pre-spawn. A hair jig in the Northeast for me, up until you get into like, north of Massachusetts, I would say. The hair jig is primarily a pre-spawn bait.
Got it.
And particularly in places where you don't have the water clarity that you do in, like the Great Lakes region.
Interesting point.
Yeah. Because then, I feel like for some reason, I don't know why, but, and guys can chime in on this if they want to, but we have a ton of lakes in Connecticut that are, I shouldn't say a ton, but like 7 or 8 lakes that I can think of in Connecticut that are super clear, gin clear. You can see 15 feet down. Even in the New York area too, like Putnam County, there's a couple of places. And for some reason, fish just live super shallow. There's a population of fish that just live really shallow, even when it's super hot, when the water's really clear. I don't know if it's because they're just roaming around looking for stuff or whatever, but those fish you can target with a hair jig later in the season than you can those fish that live in those bodies of water with less clarity on them.
Fascinating.
So the rod and reel and line setup that I'm using, personally, I prefer straight fluorocarbon. We talked about this on that podcast. I don't like braid to fluoro just because I fish really light finesse stuff in super windy conditions all the time, and I hate wind knots. So
what pound test
drives me insane.
6?
Yep, bingo, 6, and I'm using Seagar and VizX.
Wow. How do you prevent line twists?
So there's a couple of ways. Some guys heat up their spools, with the hot water, run them under hot water every day. Not super hot, but just warm.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm going through so much line because I mean, dude, when I tell you that I use like 600 of these things in a spring, I'm not lying.
Did you just say you throw 600? You're losing those 600, or you're replacing them because they're beat up or chunked up or their hook points are dull?
No. I'm losing them. I'm breaking them off in rocks. So
no wonder you got to get a bear rug to tie every year. That's so crazy, dude. 600 jigs. How often do you fish?
As much as I can. I'm a guide. So don't forget that my clients are also using them.
Okay, that makes more sense. I feel a lot better now because I'm like, what?
I'm glad you feel better. So another thing in the early spring, it seems like if you get over those fish, good luck. You're not going to catch them for at least a little while. You got to let them cool off.
So you've spooked them. If your boat's over top of them, forget it. The hair jig, it's done. That's so crazy. How deep are you? Like, are you fishing? 10 to 15, 20 early season when the water's in the 30s?
So when
I don't know anything about the Connecticut lakes.
Yeah, so typically in Connecticut, I would say most lakes, ice out, you're targeting that 20, 22, 25.
Okay. That makes sense.
As they move up, the hair jig really shines on, like, particularly when you're talking about a place like Candlewood, for instance. A lot of guys may know Lake Winona, Lake Zor, places where there are rock walls that run into the lakes, right? So a lot of lakes around here are either man-made or dammed portions of riverbeds, and the land used to be separated by notifications keep popping up. The land used to be separated by stone walls. Stone walls used to divide property lines, used to divide crops for farmers and stuff like that. And those
cool.
stone walls running into the lakes, pardon me if this is redundant, but they're using them like highways moving up from the deep water into the shallow water because they run right to the bank. So that's why you lose so many of them. You're getting them wedged in stone walls and stuff like that. And they move on to those little pieces. It always seems like there's just like something a little different that's part of a stone wall, whether it be like a couple boulders like right next to it, or a part that maybe silted over and then where it comes back up. And a lot of that stuff seems to be in that 15, 10. There's a lot of foundations and stuff like that too on Candlewood, especially, and a lot of those are in that 10 to 15 range. So yeah, I mean and then once they get shallower, you're fishing on the bank, a foot of water, 2 feet of water sometimes.
Pretty wild.
How about as far as targeting? Obviously, this is a great technique for smallmouth. You catch a fair amount of largemouth on these hair jigs, and are you doing anything different with those?
Yeah, so northern largemouth for sure. They love the hair jig, and that's where I do actually use a trailer a little bit. And there's also some modifications, I guess you could say, to certain finesse tactics that we often use in the spring that I'll use a plastic on. But when I'm targeting largemouth, for some reason, like this is actually like perfect. Like this little tiny, just straight tail worm. This is a 3-inch worm. Putting that on the back of a hair jig will just prevent the hair jig from falling over and tilting on its side while you're just holding it still. And for some reason, largemouth just can't deal with that. If you throw out a hair jig that's with the right material, and you just let it sit there and just move like naturally, and that hair is just moving, billowing kind of right in their face, they smoke the damn thing when it's just sitting still. But it's got to be sitting upright in order for them to eat it consistently, because you're not getting the optimal action when the hair jig's just laying on its side.
Mike, it's crazy. I got to interject. This is a northern largemouth conversation right now for a minute. Travis asked the question. My largest Potomac fish came in 43-degree water, December 24th. Wouldn't fit in the live well straight. Didn't have a scale on the boat. Couldn't keep her. Didn't want to. Got a picture. Came on a hair jig. A little modified Arky. I believe this is probably Arctic Fox. And if you guys can see that right there, that is a glass rattle encased in heat shrink tubing. And it was on a pork frog of about that burnt orange. And the jig was black. This is an olive one that I have. But literally, as Mike described it, these fish, after the sun came up, we caught a couple. And I think I was throwing a shad wrap, and it was really slow. I said, you know what, I'm going with a hair jig. And literally pulling it until I felt hard cover. And then I left it there, and maybe I'd shake it every 10 seconds. It probably took me per retrieve. I don't even know. But there was a little bit of chunk rock on a drop. And that's where several fish came from. And that's where this fish came from. It was in the, 8 to 9 pound class.
But the key to that is that you had them located already, right? You knew that.
Yeah, we knew there were fish in the area. Super deep water close by, 15 to 17. But as the water warmed up and the sun got high, they started to get onto that hard cover that was warming. It was a marsh bank with hard rock mixed in. And it was like not a lot of rock, believe me. I had to find it, but we knew there were fish along this 100-yard stretch. So pretty crazy, right? My largest Potomac bass on a little, this is a 1/4 ounce, by the way. Isn't that crazy? And we're talking hair tonight. Biggest Potomac River bass in December.
You heard it.
Proceed, please. Well, dude, I mean, I just had to say it.
Mike M. Jones, he's down in Alabama, and he's asking about southern, largemouth and spots. What are your thoughts on that? I would assume in these cold temperatures, if you have them kind of located, why wouldn't it work? For sure.
So I had several pros last year for an MLF tournament. I think it was an MLF Big Five. They bought a good amount of jigs for me fishing down there. I think it was on Smith, targeting spots in the early year. So I can't tell you from experience myself personally. I haven't fished down there enough to really tell you, but I can tell you that I think the furthest south I caught them on was Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia. I caught a bunch down there on hair, fishing it kind of the same way I do here. But they all wanted some bait fish type stuff. They were reeling it instead of the slow drag. And you know, there's definitely some places like watching folks fish like on Bull Shoals and other lakes in Tennessee and in that area, where I'm just thinking, or Cumberland, especially Cumberland. Oh my God, dude! Everybody, there was a tournament there like 6 or 7 years ago, and I think I was talking to Jeff Gustafson at the time, and I was like, dude, you got to be throwing that hair jig down there when you go down, because there's smallmouth in there. And he fishes that marabou a lot, and he's the man. But that marabou is a totally different deal than that synthetic, or even getting into the Arctic fox, some hackle, some red fox and coyote and stuff like that. And since everybody was catching them on a Ned rig and it was all pre-spawn, I was just saying, I'm sitting there licking my chops. I'm like, damn, dude, I wish I could be fishing that tournament, because I would be smoking them on hair there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that? Thank you for muting me, Travis. I know I was making a lot of noise. So many people have been asking, what rod? Dish on the rod and reel.
For different hair, I'm throwing different rods, but same action. So medium wide action rod. For the synthetic, for the slow drag deal, 6'9", 6'10", something under 7 foot. I personally use a 6'9" medium wide Zodius for most of my hair jig stuff, especially with the synthetic. When it comes to marabou, I'm using the 7.6 medium light spinning rod.
Nice.
I want to really huck that thing out there as far as I can.
Why do you like the shorter rod when you're dragging? That's fascinating.
You know, it's for me, it's just like better feel.
Contact. Okay.
And sometimes Eric, the bites, it'll surprise you. We'll come like 10, 12 feet away from the boat at the end of your cast when you're about to reel up.
That's so crazy.
That can help. That short rod just feels right. I guess that's the best way I could put it.
Right on. 3,000 diameter, 2,500, 4,000. I've switched to a 4,000. I like it a lot, man. My egg ends. Shimano helps with line twist, man. I'm telling you. And they're light.
I believe you, but I mean, I usually use most of my reels are, Shimano 2,500 size.
CI14. Whatever.
I use the Nazis quite a bit because they're like a workhorse and I'm a guide.
Oh, 10-4.
And then I also I love the Vanford. It's a sick reel, and I have several of those. So
nice.
But again, 2,500. I mean, that's what I'm using for. I personally like to try to use the same size reel for everything, so I can switch them around as the year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Stuff like
that. So. Plus, you're comfortable with it. You feel the frame, the handle's in the same place. I know if I switch up reels, it's like I'm grabbing for the handle, and it's shorter, like big old glide bait handle is long, and then my cranking handle's different. It's weird moving between rods and reels. I get it. What's your brand rod, man?
Shimano Zodius.
Shimano. So you're Shimano all the way through.
All through and through, my friend. It's and I've used everything. I've used a wide range of rods, and for some reason, I've really Shimano's just seemed to feel right.
The Zodius is pretty reasonably priced, right?
Yeah, I think they're like 229 or something like that. So it's not
crazy.
It's not crazy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can get them on sale. That's a good price. I like the build of the Zodiacs, man. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I like the way it's wrapped. It's a very strong and light rod.
100% with that, whatever that crosshatch wrap is, man, through the blankets.
Yep.
It's tight looking too. Looks a little carbon fibery, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I got a couple other chatterbait rods. I like them.
Yeah, man. So you know, once they're the fish have, you know, kind of moved up a little bit, you could still get them on synthetic. You know, like I said, all the way up to the spawn. But I start to use a lot more materials when I get into a little bit shallower water, when the water warms up a little bit. One of the biggest ones coming out of you know, so I get a lot of orders from all over the place, right? The Susquehanna guys love the coyote. They love that.
What is that, like a juvenile bait fish, or what? What's it imitating?
I'm
Do you
thinking
think
it's craw?
Craw?
I'm thinking it's a craw. Yeah,
like a juvenile craw?
Yeah, like a craw that's, you know, maybe malted, you know, they're super light colored in the colder water, perhaps.
You got a little gold flash in that thing, man.
Yeah. I threw a couple of. So this, I'll tell you, this was a custom order that I kept one of because, like, I just thought it was just beautiful. And this is coyote with black synthetic, brown synthetic, and 4 strands of gold flash in there.
Dude, you killed it on the build, man. That truly is coyote. It's not just called the coyote jig. It is coyote.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I'm sorry, Travis. I couldn't help myself.
That's not how a coyote howls.
Whatever, man.
That's not how a coyote howls.
Okay, let's hear your coyote call. You're so coyote in it. Go ahead, man.
No.
You don't know.
He's smart enough to know that he can't do it. So
there you go. I got it. Hold on. You gotta do your hands right. I didn't have it right. I gotta wrap them right. Here, coyote.
I can only do wolf sounds. Anyway, so
only wolves.
Yeah. What about wolf hair?
I don't tie.
Use that? No.
Wolf hair.
I don't think that's. I'm pretty sure that's.
I think it's protected, bro.
Little do you know that if you take a Sammy and you put an eagle feather on the treble, money.
Well, you should probably not tell YouTube that. Or
I know, I'm joking. I don't own any eagle feathers. In fact, did you know it's illegal to even own a tail feather or just a feather?
Is it really?
Yeah, you cannot even have possession of one.
That's crazy.
So, I got a question for the jig tire. Polar bear hair.
What's up?
I
heard you talk about this.
You could.
What?
I used to tie flies with it. I bought legal polar bear hair back in the day. It's translucent and hollow.
Cool.
It's cool. It's cool material.
That's interesting. I've personally never had polar bear hair.
I bought it to tie bonefish flies because I wanted to get the perfect shrimp pattern.
Nice.
Caught them on it too, man. Yeah, I got some left. I should sell it. Apparently now it's like, I don't know if I have the receipt. Probably couldn't.
Can we see the polar bear hair?
I got to dig over in my fly time material box because I got a shit ton of fly time material. Hold, please.
If you get a second, that'd be nice to see.
Yeah. Do people want to watch my camera, Fritz? You could probably just take me off for a second.
I'll take you off for a second.
See if I can find my polar bear hair.
That was a very tactful way of getting rid of Eric for a few moments.
Yeah, let's talk the good stuff now.
All right, so this is fox, Arctic fox, silver fox, combination of the two. Really, really awesome pattern, very, very effective for me over the years. And this kind of got ripped off by a couple other jig tires. So shout out to those guys. But I call this avocado ghost, play on avocado toast. But as you see, avocado, Arctic fox on the inside and silver fox on top of that. Very, very effective for some reason later in the year. Don't honestly know what it mimics. Kind of like bait fish color, sort of. But Silver Fox is an insanely effective material. I would say that, like, if I'm not using black synthetic and I'm dragging, I'm throwing the Silver Fox or a variation thereof.
In the 1/8 and 1/4.
1/8 and 1/4.
Okay,
Yep,
so
absolutely.
I'm just taking notes because obviously I'm going to hit you up for a few of these. If you go through 600, I'm going to definitely need about 1,200 tied up.
That's Silver Fox with some black synthetic and some hackle in it, which is pretty cool.
We are getting some questions. People
deal.
do want to know, are these available to purchase? And if so, how do they reach out to you? How's that all work?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say to just message me, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, or social, any avenue of social media, Fishing with Wincy. Reach out to me. Unfortunately, due to COVID, a lot of supplies are kind of limited, so I have to be a little bit more picky, I guess, with the folks I tie for. Just because of things like jig heads, like hooks are super hard to get right now, the hooks that I use. But I'm making it happen with a bunch of different suppliers. So, but I'm kind of a stickler when it comes to what I'm using, the hook that I'm using, the jig head, the folks that are pouring these for me. I don't pour and paint anymore. I don't have proper ventilation in order to do it, but I use some high quality stuff, and I wouldn't sell a jig that I wouldn't use myself personally. That's how I roll. You're not going to get something that shipped to you that is not something that I would throw myself.
Yeah.
So because of that, and the quality control aspect of it, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist with this stuff because I've been doing it for a while, and it's kind of my brainchild here. It's a little tougher for me to get stuff. So I am really not selling to people who want 2 or 3 of these. It's if you want to put in an order for a few dozen, a couple dozen, something like that, absolutely. But the onesie twosies are just unfortunately it's just not happening right now.
They want to know about what's your preferred hook brand and stuff like that.
I'm not going to get into that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Is there a reason?
Well, I mean, Travis, I've shared this with you in the past too. People were, ripping off my stuff on a regular basis here.
Gotcha.
So sorry guys, but the hook that I use is going to stay, a secret, I guess.
Fair
you could
enough.
say.
That's fine.
But I will say, so these are an awesome, if you're looking to tie for yourself and you don't mind spending a little extra money, the Berkeley Fusion half head is a super awesome jig head. In the quarter size, they come with a 2/0 hook. It's a great hook on here. Actually really strong for a fine wire hook. And the 1/8, I mean this one's tied on an 1/8 half head. Those are really good. So that's a suggestion that I'll give to you guys.
Gotcha. How about scent? That was brought up. Do you use any scent at all?
Never. Some guys, years back, I can recall, dipping their jigs in smelly jelly. I think it's going to impede the action of the hair if you're getting it all saturated with schmutz. So, I would, if I'm going to use any sort of fish attractant, I would say to use one that's just like a spray on, like a Bang, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say Procure does sell a pretty cool spray scent that I've been using, and I actually have some. If we get it, I might get it out a little later for you guys.
I've never run into an instance where I've felt like it mattered that much, because I fished out of boats with guys who have been throwing hair with attractant on it when I just stayed to tried and true, and I always do well on it, so it's a confidence bait for me.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. I mean, I got some more patterns for you guys if you want to dive into, unless there's some more questions that you want.
Yeah,
yeah, man.
Let's see what you got.
All right. So I came out with this this year. I haven't used it too much yet, obviously, since it's new. But I call this Molten Croix. This is a jig
Nice.
that's also been copied a ton. This is a fox. I won't tell you what kind, with silver fox and blue synthetic on the inside there. It's a pretty dope little jig, and good. Limited success on it as of yet because I just haven't been able to use it too much because I just kind of came up with the pattern in 2021. So that's another awesome pattern. I think is going to have a lot of success on it. But so like there's all these different materials. I mean, and a lot of them look the same, right? So I'll give you a for instance. So this little guy right here, that's coyote. Right, so that's coyote hair. It's on a swatch. It's right off of the hide, and this is gray fox. And you wouldn't know the difference just by looking at them right next to one another, but they feel completely different, and they have totally different properties in the water. This one's a lot more stiff, or I should say, a lot stiffer. Pardon, than this. This is a little more flowy. This is a lot stiffer. And for that reason, I use them for totally different things, but they look so similar to one another as far as the, from an aesthetic standpoint. But all right, so this is marabou. I've gone over that with you guys already, but standard marabou jig. Tips for some guys that tie marabou jigs. I know a lot of you guys tie marabou jigs. Whether or not you tie them with flash, that's kind of up to you. But one thing that I have done tying marabou that will save you some time, I hate to drift away from the topic at hand, but putting a little, actually using a full feather in the center, not like the stiff part, but where it starts to get, more supple and pliable, using that just right in the center, tying that on first thing, and then you can build the marabou on top of it so it builds around it, gives it more body, and you don't have to use as much marabou, because I know, guys, they complain about having to use so much marabou to get their jigs all puffy.
And to find the right marabou on the frickin' quill that you want to use, not the stem. What a pain in the butt. But that's a great tip. Thanks.
Yeah. So there's a lot of other stuff that I do with hair that
do share.
Other people may
share
not
about
do.
your hair, man, please.
So one of the things a lot of guys around here know polar bear. I have no polar bear.
I'll get you some polar bear.
He's got it. Oh, he's got the polar bear.
Let's see it, man.
Well, you guys want to see the polar bear, man? I didn't think there was any interest. Travis froze me out for like 5 minutes, man. Whatever.
Oh my god.
Hey, we get to use the mic.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
All right, time out.
Look, man. No. Seriously, this does it. Look, this hair has a natural freaking sheen to it and translucency. So anyway, that's the special part about polar bear. I got it to tie shrimp flies. The gotcha. Can you see that sheen? You guys can see that sheen?
I see.
So it's very sexy.
It's wiry.
So it's
I can see how it would work well.
Yeah,
shrimp pattern.
That's what I got it for, man. Shrimp pattern. So I got it in some other colors too, like some reds and greens and chartreuses. But yeah, that's what I got left of it, man. Tied some gotchas back in the day, and it got me some big bones down on Andros Island in the Bahamas.
So you're gonna be mad at me, but I tell everybody who's ever bonefished this story. I was staying at a hotel in Mexico. Yeah, and I go by there's this like town. I forget what it was called. It was near Cancun, and it had a Walmart. So I go into this Walmart and I'm like, I'm buying fishing stuff, and I'm fishing off the beach in my hotel. So I go in and I get like a $60 rod or whatever, super overpriced in Mexico, and it's really crummy and crappy and basically falling to pieces. But I only need it for 3 days, so who cares? I go to the breakfast buffet the day after, and I cop some breakfast sausage, little chorizo, and I throw it on a little tiny hook, and I throw it out with a split shot, and I literally caught one bonefish after another for like 4 hours straight.
I caught one in Bermuda behind my hotel. There's a little cut between some volcanic rock and like a cove. I waded in, and I had a spinning rod with a sand crab from Bass Pro Shops and a weighted jig head up. It was a plastic, like, poured soft plastic. And this group of bones came in. There were some giant bones there, 10 and like a 6. And the 6 got it first, man. But no, I did catch a 14.4 down in the Andros Islands with Charlie Nemore. That was a IGFA world record on a 9.9 tippet on a fly rod, 45-minute fight. He wouldn't sign my card, man. So I do not hold the record for the 9.9 tippet. It might have been broken by now, but at the time it would have been 45 minutes on it. Yeah. Yeah. He didn't want people that wanted to chase world records on his boat. He said they were dicks. I don't need their money, man. What do you got? What else you got, Mike?
You're talking about a shrimp imitation fly. I joke around and I call this the scrimp.
What?
So yeah, so this is
the scrimp.
Yes. I have affectionately named it that.
What's on the back of that thing, man?
After several years of catching them on this. And this is juice. If you fish a spider jig, like a spider grub, a little like a Kitech little spider, or a Cabin Creek, the little spider parts.
Sure.
This is absolute money in comparison to them because they see so many of them, right? So this is coyote just tied as essentially the top of the spider part, if you will. And that's a mega bass.
Like the bottle shrimp?
That's the bottle shrimp, 2.5.
Dude, I know my stuff.
And that's why I call it the scrimp.
That's so cool.
Super dope. If you fish around like an area where the spider grub or spider jig is super popular, that's a little mod that I use very, very frequently. And it absolutely wrecks those.
That's beautiful, Mike. That's beautiful. That's brilliant, man. I love it.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a cool little mod with hair that works really well. And again, this is basically the scrimp, right? But I tied it with some Arctic Fox in there and some silicone, just as a little differentiation, tiny little bit of difference.
You know what? I don't know if you can do this, but it'd be cool. Like some of your top recommendations, like put together like 10 quarters, 10/8 of the synthetic all black. Do your silver fox, your blue crab, this thing, 10, 10, 10. Have like 50 jigs for whatever, a little bundle for our viewers. Is that something we could do? I'm just thinking out loud here.
It's possible. It's definitely doable. Waiting on a whole bunch of jig heads to be coming in, like about 800 to 1,000. So I could definitely
mind-boggling, dude. That's production time. What's your vice of choice? I see it right there in front of you, bro.
Renzetti? This is not my vice of choice.
Of course.
This is a little. So I tie on this one a lot, just because it's super simple and it doesn't really get in the way. It's like a $30 or $40 vice that you could probably get off of Amazon, but it has everything that you need right on it. I like to keep it relatively simple. I don't get like super crazy with vices, but the one that I really enjoy tying with is a little bit of like a Cadillac in comparison to this guy. But when I'm cranking out jigs, this is the guy that I'm usually tying on, and I don't even know the brand name or anything.
You don't use a rotary vise when you're cranking out jigs? That's interesting, man. You must be damn good. So I love a rotary vise, man.
I don't have to turn it around. I'm at the point where I don't have to turn it.
That's so good, man. I still have to turn it around to make sure our material's laying straight, and if I want to precisely lay something in, I'm not.
It's all about feel, and so I've been
sure.
So, like I think last year.
How many did you tie? What would you guess?
For customers, I think it was like 1,600 or 1,700.
That's unbelievable. Plus the 600 you're using for you. That's like 2,300 jigs.
then plus, I tied like, I think like 100 for my tournament partner. So I tie a lot. I tied a lot.
Ton of jigs. Wow.
It's insane.
Jeez.
It is insane. So, but this year got a baby, so a little bit different, a
No.
little less time. I got a 7-month-old daughter, so she's she takes up a
Congrats,
lot
man.
of the time. Thanks, man.
What's her name?
Mira.
Mira?
Yeah.
Nice, man. Congrats.
Thanks, dude. But yeah, she takes up a lot of that time that I would spend down here in the cellar.
For sure. Travis knows.
But yeah, no, Travis, I think we can work something out like that.
I mean, what would be the minimum? What do you have any prices in mind? Like let's just call it the Smallmouth Crush bundle and put something together. What you think? Like, can you take a second to maybe think about that? We'll take you off the screen. You can scribble something together. What do you want to do here? Because these guys are eager.
Sure.
We're not putting you on the spot or anything. I mean,
only if you want to, dude. Only if you want to. But I don't.
Take a second. No pressure.
But listen, I don't think we can. Realistically, these guys they have to understand it might be a couple months, right, before.
You probably have them by the spring, as far as the Northeast is concerned.
Right.
I would say, based on current order volume and stuff like that, you're looking at March, end of March, for depending on how many are coming through. But I would say, for the guys who are just looking to get into it, really what I would suggest is, dozen marabou, dozen black synthetic, dozen silver fox. If you want to do quarter and eighth in each of those, you're looking at 6 dozen. And that's probably that's going to get your standard guy probably through the spring and possibly in the next year, depending on how you're throwing. And listen, dude, if you're not going through a lot of hair jigs, if you're not absolutely just wedging them in rocks and trying to pluck them off and not being successful in doing it, you're not fishing them in the right places. You got to fish these things in some gnarly stuff. They get wedged in rocks. You lose them. It's going to happen. It's a tiny little thing. It's going to get wedged in crevices, but it's worth it if you get it down. Let's put it that way. So, pricing, I'd have to think about what that would be off the top of my head. Let's see. Usually, I could do like 375. Let me. Can I get back to you like by the end of the show or something like that? And let you know? Because I gotta kind of figure out.
I know you don't want to be hassled with someone wants 4 jigs and then mailing it out.
Never.
Let's just do right. A massive bundle. If you're willing to drop a few bucks on these, committing to the hair this year and giving it a try, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say that I have a good line on Silver Fox. I have a good line on there, but I've obviously the massive sheet of awesome synthetic hair that's I got no issues with in that department. So I have no issues as far as the materials are concerned.
So John in the comments goes, I thought hair jig was more of a horizontal steady retrieve. And we kind of talked about that, but not really. We're referring to marabou being the jig of choice for that steady retrieve versus synthetic or fox or whatever the case may be. You want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so the marabou is a very, very billowy material that's super responsive. And it also is super porous, so it absorbs water and really, really kind of like mats down. Like this jig out of water looks so much puffier and larger than an 1/8 ounce synthetic in comparison, right? It looks huge. But once you put it in the water, this hair is not matting down as much as this guy right here. And so when you want to reel the marabou through the water column. You don't even really want to let it touch the bottom. Occasionally it's all right. But you just kind of want to be reeling this around in some flats. And that's for fish that are up shallow, that are hunting, but are pressured. That really is anywhere where you're fishing for shallow fish that are feeding by sight and are super pressured. This marabou comes into play, and it's awesome. But it is the steady retrieve. The synthetic is totally different. You're fishing for fish that aren't looking up, that are looking down, and that are hunkered down in specific areas. So if you come across, like a foundation or a giant boulder or something like that in 15 feet of water that's right off of a break for a spawning flat that's holding, a dozen fish, and you want to pick it apart, this is the little dude you throw over that and just crawl it over that boulder or foundation or whatever it may be, and they're going to pick it up off of the bottom. So 2 very different scenarios. Was that a good enough explanation?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, so other mods I can get into too.
Please
if
do.
you don't have any other questions. So I showed you the scrimp Nikko rigging, right? So super popular deal. Nikko weights with hair. It
Nice.
Absolutely.
That's so tight, dude.
Dude,
that's brilliant.
This smokes them. Okay.
Yes.
If you're fishing for bedding fish that have seen like literally everything under the sun,
Yeah.
you nose hook a little it's a TRD craw, and this is a little 3/16 ounce Nikko weight, and you literally just nose hook it. First of all, they can't get away, right? Like once you hook them, they're toast. Second of all, this is the Elastec, so you're not going to lose the nose hook. Kind of key to that presentation. But another one that's dope that I use quite a bit is the Rains. This is the Axe Craw, I think. That was a little Nikko deal. That's some coyote and olive Arctic fox, little Nikko rig deal. Again, this is also nose hooked. That's a really cool little deal for guys who are Nikko rigging.
Yeah, man, very, very clever.
So Mike,
love the cleverness.
We'll talk after the show about that special order for sure.
No doubt, dude.
Mike, you might appreciate this because we're talking jigs. It doesn't have any hair, man, but I did it on the little Z-Man football head. Nice. With a special conquistador tackle, little craw, man, just barely enough to get him excited, man. Very sparse.
Man, those West Coast companies have some cool, like little finesse things that
Conquistador does, man. You don't see a jig trailer like that, and the colors are poured great, man. That would be a smallmouth crush.
So
cheap, and I tied in my basement.
Tubes, okay. I use very, very frequently a little 2 3/4 inch tube. And it's like the only size tube that I usually use here in Connecticut. When they get outside of Connecticut, I use a little bit of a larger one. And during the spawn, I'll use like the 3.5 inch, like the Bass Pro Tender tubes, or Get Big Baits tube, something like that. But this is a little 2 3/4 inch tube, cut off the tentacles, and you just literally tie hair onto the shank of the tube jig
hook,
tying it right here, cutting off the tentacles, and you're showing them something that they've literally never seen before.
Right on, all man. The time. That's sexy.
So, and there's a bunch of different variations that you can get into. This is it with marabou.
Oh my god,
dope, kills them. Fishing on beds too, it's like a totally different deal. And then this is the tender tube with a little orange fox tied in there. You cut like most of the tentacles off,
sure,
so you get a lot of that out of the way, but it adds a little bit of something to it.
I like that. And, there's a lot of companies that are starting to put some hair on some of the tubes, but if I had the time, or I guess the motivation to tie my own, it would be a lot easier, because a lot of these guys that throw them on the tubes, they're tube inserts are something I probably wouldn't really use that size or that big of a hook, especially with the type of tubes I'm throwing. So you're fortunate you can take a tube insert, tube jig head, and put your own little flair to it. That looks pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, and it's a totally different action. Gives fish something that they've like never seen before. It's just
Right on.
it's awesome. You
Nothing
can
like
even do
there,
it,
but
like later in the season. That's just a little tiny bit of brown synthetic, and you like cut down. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I seem to get like bit really well on tubes that are just totally beat to crap and barely have any like tentacles left on them. So I'll
Yeah.
take one of them bad boys and literally just tie a little hair on the shank of a tube jig and stick it back in there.
Heck yeah.
Works really well. Yeah, so those are kind of the mods that I'll typically do. I do get into some, like tying, synthetic with a little bit of rubber on it. That's a cool deal too.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a lot of stuff that guys will use. They'll put out jigs that work really well, right? I mean, but just you could use a little something to it, or one of the things I really like about hair is it can be used as a trailer for jigs that never wears, right? I mean, like you worry about going through a million soft plastic trailers in a day, or you can tie literally a trailer onto a shank of a hook on a football jig that you can make it look like two claws coming off of a football jig, and you can literally throw that thing for as long as you own that football jig and not have to ever worry about putting a piece of plastic on the back of it.
Mike,
So
I
there's
tried
some
to
cool stuff
cut
you can do.
I tried to cut a hank of the synthetic craft fur and try to make it look like two claws, and then pop the hook through the mesh on the bottom of it. So I had like a pork trailer, but it was hair.
Gotcha.
I couldn't make it look great, but it looked good.
I believe you.
You know what I'm talking about? Like take a piece of that black and like cut a little square and then trim the hair so it would splay. And then you'd have like a whole pack of like synthetic hair claws.
The problem with that is that the way that the hair kind of comes on there, I don't know if it would really work quite as well.
Then I thought about pouring some plastic, like putting the hair down on a base if I could get it there, and then pouring silicone on top, just heating some up in the microwave, but a thin layer of silicone so I'd have some meat to hook it to. That'd been pretty cool.
Yeah,
think about that.
You're nerding out right now, man.
I am. I'm geeking with you, man. I'm geeking
like
with you.
it.
This is what the Bass Lab's all about, bro. Get a guy like you on, the brain just starts going, pew, pew, pew. Right? I love it, man. What great mods you have there, man. That's awesome stuff.
I dig it. Yeah, so I mean, there's the possibilities are kind of endless with there. You can get super creative with it once you learn what you're actually doing.
True, man.
How about keeping your hair jigs from rusting and stuff like that? Do you have any tips?
Dude, I go through so many that I never have to worry about it, to be honest, personally. But so I get those Rusty's containers. When they're individually wrapped, you don't need to worry about it as much. But definitely taking them, I don't leave them in the boat. You can't. I mean, they'll just like, even with like the packages that if they're individually packed, which I usually don't do, just because it's kind of a waste. I'll send you guys a picture. I literally like had 90 something black synthetic hair jigs just in a Ziploc bag, and I used to just take it with me. My buddy Ryan, he called me and asked me to show up to a derby, or no, I'm sorry, we went fun fishing. And I showed up and he goes, "Where's your tackle?" And I had literally one rod, and I was like, "Oh, it's in my pocket." And I just whipped out this giant Ziploc container of hair jigs. And that's all I throw in the spring, man. It's really that effective. But as far as keeping rust free, it's kind of tough as far as keeping the condensation out of there. Best bet is to take them out of the boat. Don't leave them in there.
Fair enough. On a side note, we had a bunch of questions, guys. We had the VIP last week, the VIP memberships with JP, and he talked about some of his techniques when it comes to grass fishing. We actually we're offering a particular bait and technique that he used. And we are getting a little bit closer. So our next VIP will be at the end of February, and we'll be able to hopefully offer that to you. And I'll take a quick time to do a plug right now too. If you guys haven't, the VIP membership, sign up. We can do a monthly membership or a year, and we're going to have some really good information moving forward on these live chats that you wouldn't necessarily get. Although we could qualify this as a Patreon. We kind of messed up here, Eric, but we need to give some nuggets out there anyways to the general public. So this is some good stuff, Mike. What gosh, I mean, this is a lot of good stuff. I mean, if there's like a couple, like if you got a dozen more of these crazy ideas, maybe we do need to save that for a Patreon here.
Well,
what are we
happy to make you money, Travis.
What are we thinking as far as the and it's not all about the money. You know what?
What?
Don't get me started.
What?
Don't get me started.
Bingo.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I try to make a living every once in a while off of this YouTube channel. I guess I should just get a fucking job and not fucking do this and work.
Don't be sorry, Travis.
Okay.
Listen,
We've been over that, bro. Not happening.
To be fair, guys. To be
you
fair,
tried Uber and you didn't like it. I liked it when you were driving Uber and you wouldn't tell me. That's funny.
Travis is a Lyft driver. I don't know.
He was for a little bit. He won't say it, but he was.
No, I drove. I drove back in.
But you never told me you did.
Really?
Somebody busted your cover, man. I won't tell you who.
All right.
They saw you Ubering. They saw you driving somebody around your back seat. I'm like, who? Travis?
No, but to be fair, guys, I was telling Travis earlier. I was like, you know, that podcast that he did. You know, I was on an episode of it, and you know, I started looking through all the podcasts and stuff like that, and looking, you know, just listening to all that information. That's information you can't get anywhere else.
Very
so true. I thought that was awesome. So don't let me deter you from continuing your pursuit of making this a viable living.
Thank you.
10-4.
Speaking of that, how can we help you make money, Mike? What's the price of these bundles here?
So let's go with we'll do $375 a jig.
Okay. And is there a minimum quantity you want to see?
Well, I thought it was good.
What we said, 12, 12, and 12.
Pack. Yeah. So I think you know, if you guys want to do just eighths, you know, you can do 3 dozen. If you guys want to do just quarters, you can do 3 dozen. But I would suggest, you know, both and doing 6. So that would be my suggestion. Okay,
fair enough. And the best way to reach out to you would be just send them a message.
Yeah,
on the IG, which is up on the screen right now. I think that's great. We'll do that. That's you. I like that plan.
Yeah, man. I think it's that's definitely doable, and you know, looking forward to talking to folks about hair. If you have any questions and stuff like that I couldn't have gotten to, but I mean, any other stuff that you guys want to hear about, you guys want to know?
Man, there's a lot.
Travis, you're the smallmouth guy. Come on, man, fire away.
Besides talking about, let's change the subject a little bit.
All right.
Okay.
You know what really fast? God dang, I don't want to talk about this, but why not? You know what really fascinated me was your those Gary Yamamoto. You know your.
Yep.
I don't know if we want to go there.
What?
We can go. Listen, we can go wherever you want, dude.
Wait, isn't that on your podcast? It's not like it's a secret.
No, but some people missed it. You know, there was really some more in depth.
Well, I mean, so
conversations after the show too.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
10-4.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, we can get into talking about other stuff, some crankbait stuff, some
yeah. Talk to me about
stuff.
Listen, real quick, man.
Tell him how to fish the baits he bought.
Yes.
Hop me off the screen. Hop me off the screen real quick. I will go run and grab my spring crankbait box.
Yes. Awesome.
All right, Eric.
Yeah. Now we're talking.
All right, good.
Fishing with Weensy.
Yeah, I'd like to know how to throw these.
Hey,
things.
would you mind putting my little screen name up for the people that are new here and how they can find me on Instagram? I'd appreciate that if it's possible, Travis. That's on page 6 of the manual. Is that possible, bro?
Just dying to get that Instagram numbers up. Which one do you want? Because you have 18 different Instagrams you want to start.
That'll be fine.
Okay.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that.
And don't have to put an @ in mine there. That's fine. What is this shit? Corey Johnston
coming on the show potentially.
No.
Oh, okay.
What was I gonna do? I'll have to reply to JP.
That's the second time you said, "What was I gonna do?" You lost some brain cells up there in Mass, bro.
No, I didn't. Oh, by the way, rumor has it JP will be stopping in potentially at the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania Great American Outdoor Show this weekend.
The Harrisburg, Transylvania show?
The Transylvania show. I will be there starting Saturday, and it's a 9-day show.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, Travis Bruno. I agree. This is a great show, man. Mike's killing it. Great guest. Saw some really interesting stuff. David Brown, your buddy Becker, took 10th in the MLF. Congrats. Nice. It's outstanding.
You guys are giving me too much credit here. I know nothing of what I'm speaking about. I'm just winging it completely. I don't know anything.
All right, Sir Mike, did I catch any bugs at the expo? I think I'm fighting something off, man. I'm trying to fight through it.
Oh, boy. That's not good.
Man.
You'll be good in time for Harrisburg.
As long as it's not SARS.
Yeah, right. Don't get him started, Mike. That's a trigger for him. You had to go there. Dang it.
A trigger for me.
I don't want to trigger anybody.
I can fight off a little flu or a cold. Ain't a big deal, bro.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
You guys ready? You guys ready to talk spring crankbaits? I know Eric didn't. He basically lives about talking about spring crankbaits, right?
I love crankbaits. I love it all, man. I love what you just did with the hair, man. I mean, I've been tying shit up all winter.
sounds like my crankbait box. All right, so this is what I told you about, Travis.
Yes.
That's the little Hermie.
The 2. What size is that one?
What is the LH 1.5?
In a smallmouth color, it looks like. Holy moly!
It's a dope little deal. So flat sides.
Yes.
We spoke about this on the podcast, right? So these are. Herman Oswald. He makes redwood and cedar baits. So these are both wood, super buoyant, flat side crankbaits. You see how thick the Super B is? This dude. That's a dense boy right there. This crankbait is good for like that 2 to 3 foot deal, square bill, flat side deal. Really good in cold water. And then once they get a little deeper, the Lure Me, this is the 1.5. I think they make a 0.5 too, which is a little shallower. They even make a bill or a build that has the same body style, but with a rounded bill that dives, I think, into that like 8-foot zone, which is kind of a little bit of like a wiggle wart killer, if you will, so to speak. So those are really good. You get a ton of buoyancy and a ton of wobble out of these. There's a lot more resistance as these are coming through the water than there will be with a plastic bait, but there's times where plastic baits shine. So when it comes to the plastic stuff, this is another one, by the way. I get them custom painted. So
real quick before I forget, if they don't have Instagram, can they email you?
Yeah, you can email me.
How do we find that email?
I'll tell you right now, it's my last name, Iovino.Mike, MIKE at yahoo.com. Shoot me an email there.
Put it right up on the screen.
And whether it be, about guide trips on Kenilworth or anywhere else in the region or hair jig orders, by all means, give me a shout. So this is like the budget flat side. It's a Fritz side.
Sure enough.
Kills them, dude. Absolutely kills them. I mean, if you're looking for a bait to like get you into the flat side crankbait deal in the spring, that's the one to buy. And then you're going to go down the rabbit hole and find out that there's a bunch of different stuff for different occasions. But a lot quieter of a deal than the little Hermie is. A much subtler bait, as you can see, a lot narrower, and it's made out of plastic, which is less buoyant, which means there's less resistance in the water, so you're not going to get as hard of a kick. Another one that I brought up very briefly on the podcast with Travis is the Evergreen flat side. That's a really good one as well. Also plastic. And then some standards that are still good in cold water, but not quite a flat side. This is just regular KVD 1.5. It also works in cold water, but it's a little more of an aggressive action to it than the flat sides have. And if you want to spend $20 on a plastic one, you can always hop into the Sonic sides as well. But that's kind of the entry, I guess you could say. But the one that Travis apparently sucks at throwing and can't catch anything on is a Bling 55, which is another. They just came back out with these, and
I think they went out in that last auction. A bunch of them. Somebody got a lot of them for miscellaneous crankbaits for $15.
So a buddy of mine, a really awesome freshwater fisherman that is now in pursuit of salty critters. His name is Justin Trolley. Shout out to Justin. He put me on to these Bling 55s initially, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. And dude, these things crush them, and I cannot believe Travis can't catch fish on them. But if you can get them, Tackle Warehouse, I think is like out of them until like June 25th. So, oh well. But
I got a story about the Bling 55 that would blow your mind, Mike. I'll tell you off camera.
Oh, it's an off-camera story. Ooh.
Oh yeah, it would be a real controversial thing to talk about on the stream.
Really?
Oh, blow your mind.
Interesting.
Yep.
Brass hanger. Eric knows all about these guys right here.
Bagley, baby.
Yep, Bagley. That's an awesome cold water crankbait as well. For those who don't know about these, or are kind of aren't so in tune with the old school crankbait game. This is a really good for when they're super shallow, though. You ain't getting more than 4 feet out of this, dude.
Mm-hmm.
No chance.
Very buoyant bait.
Super
a lot of balsa.
Yes, sir. Let's see. I mean, then you get into the wiggle warts and stuff like that, but I'll stick with the flat sides. Honestly, like there's like a lot of companies make flat sides now. Like this is like the 6 cents one. I mean, I haven't really tossed enough of the newer flat sides to really tell you whether or not that those ones are worthwhile, like those budget ones. Other than the Fritz side, I would say the Fritz side is the deal if you're gonna just try and keep it under $10 for a crankbait.
Right on. What color it seems like you had a lot of crawl colors. Is that what you're gravitating towards in the
spring?
So those Connecticut smallmouth, they like that rusty kind of spring crawl orange ish kind of colorway. They bite it good.
I guess it just pisses them off, dude. I mean, honestly, like it's amazing. You can like feel them track it, and like sometimes it'll be a distance. Like sometimes they will track this thing for a minute before they absolutely pummel it.
Are you watching them on the electronics track it, or are you like watching with your eyeballs and
no, you can feel it. You can literally feel it. Like when a smallmouth, or in my opinion, when a largemouth or smallmouth is tracking your crankbait, if you're in tune enough with the crankbait you can feel when a fish is in the vicinity, and that's why I like throwing a crankbait so much too, is because you can kind of get based on the vibration and the change in vibration when a fish is tracking and stuff like that. I mean, think about it like aerodynamics, I guess you could say. Right, they're affecting how the water is moving over the bait, so you just feel that little subtle difference when a fish is behind it.
He gets in the vortex.
Exactly.
So let me ask you a question. Let's talk about your cranking setup. And then Travis, you want to show your little Hermie?
Yeah,
show us your little Hermie. That's a beautiful bait, man. Come on.
So
it sounded dirty at first.
He's got a little Hermie he wants to show. Let's go.
So this little Hermie is a 0.5, and I got a 1. Okay, nice. And so obviously the 0.5 is going to run a little shallower. So I understand you like throwing it for smallmouth, and I can see it working, but I see this as a killer tidal water early spring crankbait. I really do.
Yeah.
So my questions are: am I going to be able to get away with throwing this on a bait caster?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm just thinking out loud here.
For sure.
My next question is:
use 10.
Here's my So here's what happened, Eric. They Philip Wade and another gentleman, I think even Mike, reached out to me when these came up on they have an Etsy, and they put these up, and they say, we're going to drop these at 6 p.m. 2 weeks from now.
Carolina Crankbait Supply.
Yes. And so I get on there, and
they're gone in a minute.
I'm putting in my cart, and I'm thinking, well, do I want that color, and then
next thing
I know the cart's empty all of a sudden, and now I'm freaking pissed. It's like 6:08. And
you got to buy them. You got to push the button. You got to preload your cart if you can. You got to go fast.
This is
you got to have like 6 people buying at the same time. Like you got to have your wife on one machine.
This in the light, this looks decent. This color,
yeah.
But I think like TK would do a killer job on these. Like I don't mind that. Like
Herman Oswald had a very unique color palette, if you will.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I don't know.
Very different.
I'm not disappointed. I'm gonna throw them.
Yeah. It's a hard thumping bait. I didn't have as much success as some of my other flat sides, so I sold a lot of my collection recently. I still kept some of the more rare colors and stuff like that. So anyway, there's lots of flat sides out there. There's a lot of great ones. There's a lot of budget ones. Mike brought it up today. Man, I got to tell you, I have plumbed the depths of all balsa flat side makers. Mike, I'll show you one. So this is this is a man's Thin Man, painted in my favorite rusty craw color, in my pattern. TK reimagined it and killed it. And this is a Marty Burns Epic Shad.
Ooh.
And this is a big bait. Listen to this ticker.
Nice.
It comes in a chartreuse shad, but it is a big bodied bait. And what I like to talk about when I talk about crankbait, and if I'm worming the crankbait, right, not just steady retrieving it, but if I'm doing a pull, stop, what's the secondary action that bait provides, right? Does it back up hard? Does it wobble out of cover? This thing, like when it's digging, if I stop it, this thing will wobble and sometimes do a little turn. And I got to tell you, when you go to re-engage the reel, that's the triggering mechanism. So secondary action, I like to talk about that a lot when I'm talking about cranking. What does the bait do on the stop, the rise, the little hitch, I like to call it? Like, when you're spinner bait and you put a little hitch in it, or your chatter bait and you're ripping it, that's the thing that triggers the bites a lot of times. Deflection, of course. What is it doing when it's digging in the rocks, right?
So I mean, that's what it's all about up here. You got to grind it, right? You're grinding, right?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. If you're not banging the cover, just like your jig, right? If you're not in the rocks losing the jig, even if you've located them, if you're trying to keep it above it, I don't want to lose another one, forget it. You're not going to catch them, right? You just got to donate to the man.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
You do.
It's a necessity. You just got to.
No, man. So that was a really good group of crankbaits you just showed, man. Thank you for doing that. That's my jam. So I appreciate that.
Not?
Heck yeah, man.
Why not, man?
I can't wait to tell you the story about the Bling 55. I'll just show you a crankbait and let's see if anybody knows what it is.
Do you
I'm going to hold up the original Bling 55 in balsa. And if anybody could guess who the maker of this bait is, you're a crankbait stud. And I'm not going to leave it up long. You don't get to examine it, but if you know, you know. Crazy, right? That's a Bling 55 in balsa made many, many years ago before the Bling 55 came out.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, I know the Bling 55 was in the, and honestly, there's probably been 4 or 5 after that, before the Bling 55, same body, you know, and then
I'm talking about the OG body by the OG maker.
Gotcha. I don't know who it is. I mean, I know the WEC.
I do.
I
talk to him frequently.
Oh, he's still around. He's a guy who's still around.
Still making baits. Yep. Let's see if anybody knows.
Ed Chambers.
Good guess.
Oh.
I don't talk to Ed. Never have. Never did. There's a couple of crankbait makers I've talked to. Rob Cochran, Craig Powers. Yep. It's not the big O. Guggen. It's the Guggen squad. I'm not hating on the Guggins, but that's a funny.
So Moses, for people to answer.
Moses made it.
Adam Coley. Eric, I think that you and I should have at one point a nail polish only crankbait painting contest.
I would love to.
Because you will get smoked.
Whoa!
You may be the original nail polish. You may be the original nail polish crankbait painter guy.
I'm sold. I want to see this. Let's set this up a few months out.
I'll lay my brush down, man.
I'm gonna do it too.
You right now. I just want to hire you and throw some fucking hair jigs on Candlewood, man. I'm not the pump your chest up kind of guy. Like, that's not me. That's why I like the team fish and not like Travis. Like, I'll whip your monkey ass around the Potomac, bro. And then that just doesn't do it for me.
That
you've said
Randall,
it before.
Come on, get out of
It's
here.
been a while.
You know,
you've simmered down over the years.
It's been a few weeks since you've been a prick. Let's keep it going, okay?
It's because you've simmered down and not being a dick. Your dickness brings out my prickness.
I haven't been a dick at all. The whole
I know you've been good.
Just,
all I did was mention what you did on a stream. Is that being a prick? Nah, it's just telling the truth.
What I did?
You flexed on me so many times. You used to drink on the streams, and you would get a little bit hangry, but you're settled down. You're much more chill now, man. It's awesome.
Okay.
But Mike, no, man. I'm sure you got to show me. Show me pull out your best nail polish crankbait right now.
I'm not going to get the nail polish crankbaits.
For
another time.
Have you ever posted one on your IG?
I have, and in fact, you commented on it.
I'm gonna look at it right now. I mean, how many posts do you have? It's gonna take me a while.
It's probably gonna take you a while, but I believe you nicknamed it the Rusty Crusty Sparkle Craw, which is a very Eric name to come up with. So,
you know me. When I comment, I'm just dumb. Travis like, why do you comment so much on Instagram, Eric?
Okay,
Mike
so fun fact about Travis. Travis decided to follow me on Instagram today. Today.
That's just stunning.
What? I don't have time to go look through Instagram posts. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. So like you've been talking to the guy about you did a podcast with him and you didn't follow him like just immediately? Listen to what you just said.
Since tagged him on Instagram and now just today, minutes before I came on the live, decided to follow me.
That's so crazy. But that's Travis for you.
Yep. Yeah, sorry, Travis.
It's not on purpose. It's not because I hate you. It's not because I just
kidding. I'm just kidding. Not about that you took me so long to follow me. Just it doesn't really matter.
Well, it obviously does because you brought it up and you texted me right afterwards and said it's about time.
I like that you put that tone in my voice. Thank you.
It wasn't that one, was it?
Like me.
It wasn't that one. That's it.
That's
okay. That's your rusty trusty sparkle crawl. Well, I guess I got to pull out. I got to pull out my box. Okay, so this is my.
He's got them at the ready. I do not have them at the ready.
This is my bluegill that I hand painted.
That's pretty nice.
Looking nice.
That's pretty good for nail polish freehand. TK, feel free to comment.
Hold on, Eric. You never mentioned the Bling 55 answer.
Not doing it.
Oh no! About that the guy you were working or you talked to the guy.
I'm not saying anything.
So you asked us to guess, and you're not going to tell us what the answer is.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
my
party
golden
foul,
boy
Eric.
wigglewort. Yep.
Mike,
There you
I
go.
think Eric might have the upper hand. You just threw a bunch of weird glitter on a crankbait, bro.
That's
Oh,
my.
okay, Travis. It's all right.
I'm just
Listen. I get it. That crankbait caught a lot of fish.
Hold
That's
on.
okay.
You might. We're not talking about crankbait
It's
effectiveness.
flexing.
No, I'm just showing you what you're up against. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm okay with it. Trust me.
I know. I'm sure you're gonna whip my ass. It's all right. It's good. It's good.
I remember you guys. I remember you two having a contest, and Travis just whipped out some spray paint and spray.
That's my that's my
that's
jig.
pretty legit too.
That's my jig bomber
good
Model
looking.
A. Yeah, it's good looking, right? Yeah, that's a black and blue with a little
the
purple.
transition on the lateral line.
Thank you very much. I'll keep going if you want.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm pretty
You
proud
don't
of this
have
one
to.
too.
I mean, it
man.
all depends. It all depends on what. the
I
line
thought that's sexy as hell right there.
It's cool looking. It's
Yeah,
cool
man.
looking.
I like the molting effect on that one, man. Black and red. What else do I got?
That
Oh,
took you like
geez.
6 hours to paint, didn't it, Eric?
No, man, not at all. I don't even know, man. I was into a black and blue phase. This is pretty cool, man, because nobody throws black and blue. I painted these years ago. That's
Yeah,
another
black and blue crankbaits, or I would say black crankbaits.
That's another
in
wigglewort.
general. Black crankbaits, even like green pumpkin crankbaits. People
Oh, that
don't
was
people
cool.
don't toss those super dark colors.
Guys, I don't use anything but the brushes that come in the nail polish. There is a thin nail polish accent brush. I use that, and then the fat brush, and that's all I use. There's nothing else involved. That's it. That's all it
Some
is.
Sally Hansen brushes, man, high quality stuff.
Sally Hansen, I got crazy with that one. What little window pane? I thought that was pretty cool. That was a reimagined one. I like that one. That's bad to the bone. Sucky fucking trap.
What's that
Anyway.
one? Is that the
Is that a storm?
is that the dual Realis?
No, he
What
was
was that
right. It was a storm. He knew it. It's the storm. Then I got a little fussy with this one. Old copper crawl. Oops. Old copper crawl. That's it. That's it. Now you saw what I got. I'm bringing out my shit.
It's all good, man. I just wanted to give you a platform to talk about your crankbaits.
Man, you rock, dude. You know how to get me right in the heart. Thank you. I love you, man.
I was coming for wow. That's I don't know about that. But yikes.
All right, guys, head on over to Mike's Instagram or email if you want to get into that special bundle order.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what I haven't done in a while?
What
haven't I done in a while? Everybody knows I used to show this every stream, and I stopped doing it. The freaking June bug.
It's been a while.
June bug red, man.
Has it been a while?
No, about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2, 3 weeks.
No, because typically people used to ask for it, and they stopped asking. I stopped showing.
Can you please get out your magnifying glass again?
Did you like that? That was pretty cool, man. That was awesome.
I know you think it's pretty cool.
You damn right I do. Hey, I got another order of these coming for those guys who missed out on the last drop. So anyway, coming soon. So keep an eye out on the and these sold out tonight. So thank you everybody who supported. As I said earlier, I made the donation to the Aaron Martin's GoFundMe page, the family page. There's two. The Furious Hog Snatcher, they've done one for their kids, but I did the one that goes straight to Leslie Martin, Aaron's wife. So, yep. Thanks again, everybody. And TK for absolutely killing the paint. People wanted to know, did I actually paint that? I did in nail polish, and he perfected it. I actually couldn't believe it. I had nail polish that matched, and somebody said, how close was the one TK did to the original? And TK took a picture of his that he painted, and in there is the original one. Can anybody spot it? It's amongst it. It's like, where in the world is Waldo, man? That's anyway. You have to take a screenshot to do it. So maybe I'll post that up. But it's sitting in there. Sure is. Fun times, man.
Nice.
Look at Mike's just continuing to tie, man.
I mean, dude, I'm sitting at the bench. I may as well just keep on going, right?
Hell yeah, dude. It's freaking awesome, man. You have some really beautiful jigs, man. I appreciate your craft.
Dude, I appreciate it.
And I really like the Nikko weight I'd love to come to fish Candlewood with you one time.
Well,
That'd be fun,
guys,
man.
Dan. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, I've
I
always
know
heard
Travis has
about
been
it.
here a couple of times, I guess. So
Yeah.
he says.
Ah, with the Kitech boys, right?
I can't remember. Oh, Paul Mueller and I fished it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave you electronics lesson. You learned a lot
Yeah.
that day. He's pretty good, man. I like Paul. He's one of my favorites, man. He seemed like I was always drawn to his YouTube videos.
I tried to get him
anything.
on the podcast, but after 20 emails on Facebook, 20 messages on Facebook, 15 on Instagram, and 5 phone calls, I eventually gave up.
Somebody asked how many bottles of nail polish I have. Over 100. That's how I got
That's
that
it?
color. Over 100. It may be more. I don't know. But that is the actual nail polish bottles that I sent TK. He didn't use his own paint. I sent him the nail polish. I didn't know you could spray, but TK educated me. It's all lacquer, and so I sent him the colors, and he perfected it.
Oh, I didn't know you could spray with nail polish either.
You can.
That's
Crazy,
awesome.
right? Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, like this epic shad has some of my nail polish in it. Yep. Yeah. Because the original one went down to Florida with me. I caught some bigs on it. That was a nail polish painted bait. Pretty fun.
Very
to
good.
catch a Florida big on your nail polish crankbait.
So
made by Marty Burns. The Big M made this crankbait, by the way. Marty Burns himself.
Just to touch on nail polish crankbait stuff, right? So like a lot of people may not know, like they may just go out and buy nail polish and start painting shit, right? If you put it on too thick, it's gonna affect the action of the bait.
Sure.
How do you go about making sure that your baits stay smooth and not bubble up with nail polish or get too thick?
Try to paint slow, like, one coat, let it dry, come back the next day.
Yep.
If I'm painting a prototype like this one, I didn't care because I wanted to paint it. I painted it the same day, and I was looking to do a skunk color.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Right.
Too.
Skunk has a white back. I did a white crackle back, and then
Yep.
I really made it a modified black and blue skunk. And so I painted that the same day and took it out and fished it. I used a hair dryer to like blow dry the coat. So yeah, I mean, this started out as a
good idea.
Clear bait.
He's got all sorts of women's fashion accessories at the ready.
I do. The hair dryer's right over there. You got that right.
You know
man.
what? You know what, Travis? You're right. I may be outclassed here. I don't have the blow dryer at the.
I even got blow dryer. I used the blow dryer last week. Believe it or not.
Well, with how your hair is coiffed, we all know that.
No, it's not on hair. It wasn't from my hair.
Hey, where is that Manson crankbait that I painted? The crankbait pin up. It's probably in the drawer somewhere here. There's an OG baby. Sure. There's an OG baby pig. I know you know about those, Mike.
Absolutely.
Damn right, man.
Damn right.
But you did mention one, the freaking flat side. The flat A. I'm surprised you don't throw it. You guys want to see one of the most beautiful painted flat A's ever, and TK just sold out of these on his website. He released them. If you missed it, you missed it. But he did a ghost Ozark shad, and with a reflector in it. That is a big ass bass catching bait. It is one of my favorite cold water crankbaits ever made.
Yeah, I honestly don't throw it very much, the flat A. So
TK stand. No other bait like it. Nothing
something
nothing
to get into
has
the
that
arsenal,
action.
I guess.
Yeah, you might want to consider it. I don't know if it would work on your smallmouth, but I've caught smallmouth at Smith Mountain Lake, certainly largemouth. In spots.
We got largemouth here too. I mean,
sure.
This year was like the year of the largemouth, man.
What wins on Candlewood? Is it a mixed bag, or is it always an exclusive smallmouth bag in your derbies up there?
Oh, it all depends on time of year.
Sure.
Spring, usually it's like, it seems to be like you might get a guy that has one or two big largemouth, but usually it's smallmouth.
Okay.
And as you get deeper into the season, recently we've seen this big largemouth population where, like, this year I couldn't get away from the milfoil.
Oh, sure.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't even justify it. Like, I caught 25 fish over 6 this year.
Holy moly.
And 23 of them, I think, were out of Candlewood, out of the milfoil, flipping grass, and they were all largemouth, obviously.
Yeah, right.
I did not catch a smallmouth over 6 this season, though. I've caught several over the many years of being here, but yeah, that was it's been nuts. So you gotta target largemouth at certain times of the year. It all depends.
Right.
Different, sometimes the largemouth bite is way better. Sometimes the smallmouth bite is better, but I mean, you know how it goes. I'm always fishing for the fish that are gonna win. So
sure, hell yeah. Travis, Curly Q2 said I took over the podcast again. So why don't you take control and close the show out, bro, or wherever you want to take it.
Let's try and find out how big Candlewood Lake is.
5,300 acres.
There you go.
Tackle Craft. There you go, brother.
Now we know. Listen, guys, good stuff. I really appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight. Really good information, Mike. Good job.
Thank you, Mike.
Check them out. Go get your jig order bundle in. As far as if you want to hang out with me and you're in the, I don't know, Pennsylvania, what is it? West Virginia, Ohio, New York area. Swinging.
West Virginia?
You could drive up from West Virginia to Harrisburg for the show.
You could drive from anywhere into Harrisburg.
I'm just saying, like,
I got
close. West Virginia.
Looking
at my map.
I'm sure they're going to be from all over the place, man.
They will.
Yeah,
huge.
It's a big show. I'm going to be there all 9 days. I'll have all the Smallmouth Crush merchandise. As far as baits, I'll have some Get Bit bait tubes and some
Gajos.
Some Gajos.
You almost out?
We'll be doing. Yeah, we got rid of a lot of them up in Boston. There, be doing 2 seminars a day, I believe, scattered throughout the day at the tank. And of course, if you guys can't make it, you can head on over to SmallmouthCrush.com and grab some of that merchandise before it does get sold out. As far as sizes and things like that, some key sizes will probably be gone by the time we get back. What else do I got? I think that's about it. And then from there, the adventures continue, and I'll give you guys an update. I got some big news I want to share with everyone soon. Just not quite yet. And Mike, we'll get you back, man. We'll get you back for sure.
Hey, I'm down to do this whenever my schedule allows. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. What else? I guess that's it. What a lame way to end the show tonight. I guess
I was trying to give it back to you to take it out, man. Yeah, it kind of was lame, but
it is.
Whatever, man. See Curly Sue Q. See what happens, Curly Q2. I tried to give it back to him, man. He dropped the ball. I knew he was struggling. He told me he was tired. He wanted to make it a short show because he was out cavorting around till 4.
It wasn't.
That's what JP said. Don't make me get JP on here. And JP.
Okay, the first night I kept JP up until 4. Yes.
All right. So I did tell the truth.
But that was Thursday night or Friday night.
And then you can't remember even remember the night. You're not recovered now.
I'm gonna go recover shortly.
Where? Then you're going to Harrisburg to party for 9 days.
Jeez.
Which is even worse because that's the go out town.
No.
Yeah. No, he's coming back toasted from that show.
I hope not, because I got to drive to Georgia shortly at the day after.
You're going to call me and go, this is what's going to happen when he's driving. He's going to call me driving to Georgia. He goes, Eric, I think I'm dying again. That's just, I'm predicting it right now. If he can't control his go out bone, that drives him to corrals around Harrisburg at night,
Oh, jeez.
vamping around like he does. He's going to call me on the way to Georgia. I think I'm dying. And I'm going, Travis.
Lake Lanier, Adam.
All you need is a nap. Oh.
Mm.
And I'll take a nap. I go, how do you feel? Better.
Better.
Remember that? Remember that at the Classic?
I remember things, yes.
Okay, man.
I remember.
All right. Come on, man. Just got to own it. Own it, bro. Get comfortable in that skin, Holmes. Come on. Own that Beast Coast sweaty. That's how our conversations
This
go.
is a
guys,
nice.
you guys are ridiculous, man.
Check out this. Check out the backside of this, man.
Isn't
that nice?
Yeah. How awesome is Beast Coast, man? Just a sick little
Killer
company.
Killer brand, man.
Their new swim jig.
It's gonna be a good one, huh?
Yeah.
I think I got the best one. We'll see. I'll compare it.
Okay.
It's a tall order. It's a tall order.
I really like it. I think it's going to be just as effective as like a Dave's tournament tackle jig.
That's not my favorite.
I know, but most people that I know that fish title love the Dave's tournament.
It's a great jig.
I think Beast Coast stepped it up a little bit with that, and I think their new plastics that they came out with, gosh,
you're down with it.
Their little Magnum flipping jig. I have no reason to use any others anymore. Stocking up on those.
Dude, I literally, I not to interject, but I'm going to. So I tested those before they actually came out.
Okay.
Derek got me a bunch of them, and I literally, dude, the first day I ever used them, caught an 8-pounder in Connecticut.
That's a jank.
And I also caught a 694 and a 575 and a 470 something.
It must be the jig. You were just on it, dude. You think it was the jig? You think it was the jig?
I think it had a lot to do with the jig because that jig. So
well, tell me that's like a magical jig, man. That's selling a jig pretty hard. Come on.
So one of the things that Derek at Beast Coast does like super well is he like makes like these little subtle changes. Okay. And incorporates these little nuances into his products and make them just slightly different.
Sure.
And I think that the thing that makes that jig so special is how it sinks. It sinks. You like try and skip it. It is really difficult to skip that jig.
Okay.
I mean that thing is made to sink. Like
it's a flipping jig. Okay.
I mean like but I've never fished with a jig that's like compact like that just like I mean like a bullet bang
just
like,
straight down so it's generating the reaction strike.
That's what I think, dude. I literally threw it next to this lay down and I literally like before the 3/8 ounce jig, right?
Yep.
Before this thing can get out of sight, I see a largemouth going down to it from the top of the lay down, like, and then you just feel the tick and the thing was swimming away. And I caught a ton of fish on that.
So rate of fall is really critical, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, right. You step up your game with a tube, you're flipping, a 1/4 ounce, and then you go to a 5/16, you go to a heavier. It's the rate of fall. So you're telling me compact, quick fall, generating more strikes because of the way the jig's designed,
and borderline finessey
in terms of size.
Yes. Even though it's like, a flipping jig.
So it achieves it with a tungsten, correct?
It's or is it tungsten compound, right?
Right. So they're able to get a bigger, a higher weight.
I think it's also the shape of
the
head. I think it's also the shape of the head, and that hook that's on there is really, really nice. I mean, just everything, the whole package is really
perfect.
He's got that little thing figured out where it's definitely something special.
Right on. I get it. That's good insights, man.
No doubt. Travis, continue. I interrupted you.
No, I'm just trying to look at the schedule here, what we have coming up as well.
No show next week, right?
Hold on, let me look. Oh yeah, we're off on the 7th.
Yeah, so, I already checked.
And we're off on the 14th. So we're taking a 2-week break, guys. I apologize. Right. The 14th, obviously, because I'll be traveling. The 7th, listen, if I'm up to it, you might get a notification. We could go live on the 7th here and there. Maybe I'll go live from the show. I'll stay after from the hotel.
There you go.
If you guys, listen, I'm probably going to stream live at the show as well most of the week. So you'll be bored of me, but maybe we get some entertaining guests on. The 21st, we're going to have Rabid Baits come on and do a little talking about their product lineup. It's pretty interesting. And then February 28th will be the VIP members only. And then we also have the 7th, we have a special guest lined up. I haven't quite got him locked in yet, but the 14th of March, I know we're going out a little too far here, but Travis Myers will be coming on that night. And I'm really looking forward to that one too. He's the I guess we would call him the stream, the small river smallmouth king, and he's got some great advice when it comes to catching those fish down in his part of the country, down in West Virginia area, I guess. West Virginia. Yep.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What else? Looking at the comments here. Well, if they're liking that, I'll be at the Classic.
Don't oversleep.
What's that?
Is that Zona story?
Just telling you, don't oversleep.
Oh yeah.
Or you'll be fired.
I don't want to talk about it.
Dude, you cannot take the risk of partying there.
Okay.
You got to have somebody like 3 people. He's going to be calling for a friend, because if he oversleeps on the Mercury guy, he's out. He's lost his motor deal. You'll be fucking driving with an Evinrude, and they're not even made anymore. You'll be looking for a Suzuki sponsorship. Travis, why you got a Honda on the back of that thing? Well, this is what had happened.
Yes. We'll figure it out. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. Let's end this thing. I gotta get to bed. 10:30. We appreciate everybody's support for real. Maybe we'll see you next week live from the Harrisburg Great American Outdoor Show. Thanks, Mike. Eric, as always.
Rock the house, man.
Appreciate you coming on.
Sure thing.
And as always, until next time, we'll see you on the water. There you go. Now, if only I could just time this out better. Never happened. You want me to hit the end button? You want to keep going?
Did you hit it?
Not yet.
I thought you did.
I don't know.
I thought you did too.
I feel like we
Still
shortchanged them tonight, man. They expect more than this.
You're the host,
We
bro.
done messed up. I was off a little bit, dude. I'm freaking tired. And it's not because I was partying, dude. I literally was talking to people all day long, and I'm not used to it, man. I've been in this cave the last 3 months. You know what I mean?
Dude,
It's
I truly understand. Shows are exhausting.
yeah, I
That's
stayed
a
up till
fact.
4:30
For
one
real.
night with JP. And you know what we were doing? Hardly anything. We're just hanging out with Patrick and the people and just chilling, telling stories. It's not like we were gallivanting across freaking
But
Boston, dude.
JP said, "I'm going to bed," and you're like, "No, if I'm up, you're up, man." So
I did
you were
I did hold his hotel key hostage. Yes. Because I want to teach him a lesson. For one.
a lesson.
For one.
What do you mean?
I told him you're welcome to come up. I'll get you your own room. He didn't want to do that. He for some reason wanted to sleep in the same room as me. Okay. So then we get a pull out.
Was that a cost saving adventure? No, on his part.
Sounded like you
I
wanted
guess.
to save you some money.
Were you going to buy him the room?
Yes.
Oh, well, that was nice.
Anyways, he ends up
But
staying in
I
my
think
room.
he kind of wanted to hang with you. I guess that was the
Right.
idea, right?
Really? That much? He needs to sleep next to me?
All right.
I mean, Eric,
Well, no, typically,
you ever want to
like,
hang out with some dude and like,
well,
I
you know
wanna
how like we
really-
go
I
back
wanna
to the
really-
room, we
I
talk a
want
little
to
bit
really
after
hang
the.
out with you, man. I
But
want to
you
really
don't-
hang out and experience everything you have to offer, Travis. In fact, I want to lay down in the same bed as you. Is that what you're
Dude,
saying?
Dude, are we still live? Because you're like coming alive all of a sudden, man. Talking about another dude in your room, and you're all excited.
Oh,
What's
Jesus.
it's the most animated you've been all night. Talking about another dude in your room.
Oh, man. So
This
then
was
we
fun. You guys
So-
are fucking something else.
So then we
That's
so
our
then,
jam, Mike.
so then we get the pull out couch and it's got stains all over the thing.
Oh, that's disgusting, dude.
God.
No. Let me ask you a question. Was he wigged out by that, or were
No,
you?
he didn't seem to care. I was wigged out.
Well, of course you would be. You're Mr. Clean, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
So I
don't
got a
tell.
story for you. I fucking.
We are
My-
still alive, just so you know, I think.
I figure we are. I can see the
Okay.
comments keep coming in, man.
Oh,
so
there's comments. So my wife she's well, whatever. So I am for our honeymoon, or not a honeymoon, for our wedding. The night before, I book a hotel for myself and the groomsmen that are in the wedding, right? And it's supposed to be this like super nice place and whatever, and it ended up being a hole in the wall and just absolute shit. So I walk into my room and there's it's one of those freaking rooms with a jacuzzi in it,
Right?
which is just like, oh,
Nasty.
So I literally I put my stuff down and I'm like, dude, I can't stay in this place. Well, I go and I literally, I'm just looking around. There's literally blood on the wall, like
Right.
on the like it's a freaking murder scene. Then there's and I mean like smeared, like not just like somebody like sneezed and they had a bloody nose. No, this is blood like literally smeared on the wall. And then I
Oh
look at
my
the bed
God.
and there's just like hair woven into it and blood in the hair. And I was just like, well, all right, I am not staying here. See you never. And the funny story is I had it booked for two nights because it's supposed to be a nice place. I had it booked for 2 nights, so it was supposed to be that night and then the night after our wedding before we flew to go on our honeymoon. And I had to book a different hotel.
Man.
But that was the skeeviest spot I've ever stayed. Like I've stayed in like places where you sleep like in huts that are nicer than that.
Mhm.
Hey,
Like,
I got a nice email to shift the topic for murders in hotel rooms.
God.
I did. A guy reached out to me and said he won $1,400 in Texas on my shaky jig worm last year.
Nice.
Boom. You missed out, Beast Coast.
I had headphones because they died. You guys killed them.
We got you.
Who do we got?
You hear me?
Oh, we got you. You're still here.
Oh, sweet. You guys
Woo!
killed my headphones. You talk so much.
That's so crazy. He talked
So
you
apparently,
out.
we're still live.
Yeah, he tried to trick us. He does that sometimes. He'll push the button early so he gets a little drama before the show. Right. He does that. He's sneaky with the buttons.
After hours. I don't know what that's all about. I just see it in the intro to some of his lives.
I was
There have been some spirited after hours. Yep. We don't engage in that anymore. So you can't really advertise that. You got to take that down.
I thought it'd be fun to share a couple funny clips
From the show?
to end the after hours. I'm just seeing if I have one here.
From last year, like clips from 2021, fishing clips,
I got it.
Oh, dude.
bloopers.
Show you guys this.
Nice.
Oh,
It's
man.
pretty good. that
Done
he-
messed
he-
up.
Can I share with you this funny video?
You asking us?
Yeah.
Depends on what it is. Sure, why not? I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna show.
I'm looking. Hold
Harry
on.
Chatterbait.
Yeah.
Work.
Oh, nice, man. This was my favorite Harry Chatterbait build.
Some of you may have seen this before.
Oh, I did the cat one.
So here's the quality end in Henderson, North Carolina. I definitely would not recommend this place. So you only get your boat charged when the lights are on, but I think they're solar paneled and they seem to go off and on. Oh, and it has a really nice view of Highway 85. And perhaps a crackhead used this as a blanket once. There is a lot of needles on the ground. Oh, and this part of the hotel is actually condemned. Every door has a deadbolt. Just this one. There's so much more to the story. Just you wait.
This was an oldie. But
How old are you? How many years ago, Travis?
Probably 5
The
years
roof
ago.
collapsed.
Did you have Frosty there?
It's closed off. Now
Holy
I'm not a fan
crap.
of cats.
Uh-oh.
Frozen.
What happened?
But there's a cat stuck in this room. I'll show you.
Can you
He's
hear?
been with us
Oh.
for 3 days now. You hear him? I predict he will be dead within 2 days.
Jeez,
I think he's actually stuck in the air conditioning unit in here.
he was. We got him out. We got him
That's
out.
awesome. That's awesome.
Now this
man.
door actually can open. There's a stick there, but we're actually afraid to go in.
Lights came on.
I would love to take you to the restaurant. However, that's actually closed as well.
Lights are on.
Rumor has it that was actually a meth lab. I swear to God, that's what the manager said.
That's the worst
Unbelievable.
hotel.
Matt's going to be on the trolling motor quite a bit tomorrow, I have a feeling. So we want to make sure he gets a good charge. Of course, for $55 a night, what can you expect? What did you find in there?
Used condom wrapper underneath this mattress.
I'm actually going to walk around the corner. There's a gentleman that looks like he doesn't belong here.
It
maybe
was
he does.
so bad.
Well, he was there.
That was a chair.
My God.
Could you believe?
Although
pulling up
Matt
to this
fights
place?
fires without a smoke alarm, we may not get out of here alive.
Oh my God.
And Matt said when he lifted the mattress up to check for bed bugs, he found something. I'm going to see if that's true.
Place sounds perfect.
Oh, geez. It's true. Oh, so this morning I go to get ice, and I go to the front desk because I couldn't find the ice machine. And get this. Dude has an igloo cooler in the back office with crushed ice that he bought from the Citgo down the road. That's how they do it every morning. So if you ever do check in the quality end, I would say no to room 162 just by the way it looks. Just
That's pretty
Oh,
funny, man.
That's some crazy stuff, bro.
Woo.
I can't believe I found that.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Hotel review.
That would have been a good TikTok back in the day. Somebody just said.
Dude, I
This is-
know. That was like
I
the
mean,
original
that-
TikTok.
That's truly right. I mean, all those could have been TikTok little clips.
Mhm.
Never done a TikTok clip.
That was
but
the worst hotel I've ever stayed at.
that's crazy, dude.
God,
That's terrible.
just thinking about it.
That's skeezy.
This is pre-YouTube, so had to have been good 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Kerr
man.
Lake Regional.
How'd you do?
My co-angler won.
I remember
was
us
back-
talking.
That
I
was
remember
back
us
when I was.
talking. I remember us talking about that.
That was
Didn't he
back when I
throw?
was. Yeah.
He
That
threw.
was,
Go ahead.
That was back when I was nice to the co-anglers. You know, let them have some cash.
Right.
Here and there.
Right. He threw a shaky head with a baby brush hog, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Say no. The room 162.
Didn't a hurricane roll through there or something like that right around the time of the tournament or something before? Something. It was coming or going. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Good memory, Eric. Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
I remember the bait. Yeah. Great. thing.
Damn. All right, we got to go this time.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
Yeah. Thanks. It's been real.
It's been. All right,
Mike,
guys.
You crushed it, brother. Thank
See
you,
ya.
man.
See.
See ya. See ya.
What do you want me to do, man?
I don't. You're the host of the
I'm
show,
off.
man.
I'm
Come
off.
on. That's it. That's how we're ending the stream, everybody. We're off. We're off.
A meth storm, more like it. All right, we're out. Till next time,
Out.
we'll see you guys on the water. Boom.